Chapter 1748. Yes, Master. The chief-elect was pleasantly surprised. The Master had made it clear that the Burning Skies formation was likely to be passed on to him. At the thought that he was about to receive the first formation manual, the chief-elect trembled with excitement. Brother Chief-elect, don't you find this strange? What? Normally, the chief-elect would have sensed that something was amiss. Perhaps it was because he was too excited about the Burning Skies formation and his state of mind was in chaos. He was very depressed. However, Lu Li's temper was very good. She smiled and said, according to my guess, if nothing unexpected happens, the relationship between our sect master and ancestor Fentian is not simple. That's right. Why didn't I think of that? Lu Li nodded. Chief-elect was enlightened. If not for their relationship, how could the master have ancestor Burning Skies formation's Burning Skies formation? Longao didn't inform anyone of his departure from the Dragon Valley because he would be back in 3 days at most. Wanzhan School was one of the 10 great sects. Among the 10 great sects, no one dared to provoke the Pill Guild and Wanzhan School. Whether it was pill refiners or formation masters, they were all above martial artists. Pill refiners aside, a powerful array master, such as a divine array master, could easily kill an enemy of a higher level than himself. Not to mention one-on-one. Not to mention killing enemies above their level. Even 1 versus 5 was a piece of cake for a powerful array master. Longao gazed at the huge mountain peak in front of him when he arrived at the Myriad Formation Peak. This was the legendary headquarters of Wanzhan School. Welcome, junior brother. Please forgive me for not going out to meet you. Junior brother? Senior brother? Longao had already guessed who the person was when he saw the figure hurrying over from the Myriad Formation Peak. It was none other than the master of Wanzhan School, Lin Junhong. Not only was he a Nirvana reborn martial artist, but he was also a powerful god-level formation master. Master Lin, what did you mean by that? He smiled. Lin Junhong smiled and said, since junior brother has already guessed it, why do you still ask when you already know the answer? Could it be? Exactly. Although he had already guessed it, Longao was still a little shocked. This was because he never expected that the master who taught him the Tao of formations back then was the ancestor of Wanzhan School, Ancestor Fentian. Everything felt like a dream. Junior brother, master is waiting for you. Please lead the way, senior brother. Longao had already guessed that his master had not actually fallen. As for why his master had done that, it seemed that he could only ask the old man himself. Junior brother, master has a very high opinion of you. Longao only smiled because at this moment, his mind was still in a mess. Not long after, the two of them arrived at the back of the mountain. Halfway up the mountain, there was a flat ground. An old man was sitting on top of the boulder. Seeing this old man, Longao quickly walked a few steps and came in front of Fentian. He bowed respectfully and said, Disciple greets master. Fentian's face was full of news. He smiled and said, Good, good, good. You really didn't disappoint me. You did well, really well. Master, what's going on? From the beginning to the end, it was my test for you. As for the matter of the traitor, it was also false. Not only have you passed my test, you have also far exceeded my expectations. Longao did not say anything because he felt that he had been deceived. I know you must be very curious as to why I chose to test you. You and I don't know each other, nor do we have any friendship. Longao still did not say anything. The expression on his face had already told Fentian that he thought so. Longao did not blame Fentian because he could feel that the master in front of him did not have the slightest bit of malice towards him. Otherwise, he would not have taught him the first secret of formations, the Burning Heaven formation. It was just that Longao could not figure out why his master would do this. At that time, he was just a nobody. But his master was already the high and mighty ancestor of the Wanzhan School. The gap between the two was too big, like the gap between heaven and earth. Senior Longbatian. There was no need to say anything more. Longao already knew the reason for these simple words. He already knew that his ancestor was not a divine path martial artist at all, nor was he a supreme divine path martial artist. He was a genuine Starry Sky cultivator and a level 9 Starry Sky cultivator. It seemed that it was the ancestor's arrangement. I I believe you should know Senior Longbatian. I don't want to say anything else. Although your current situation is not very optimistic, I can't help you. Otherwise, I will not be able to explain it to Master Divine Mathematician. I know. This time, Longao came to verify this matter with his master. As for whether the Wanjan school would help him or not, Longao had never thought about it from the beginning to the end. As the saying goes, it is better to rely on oneself than on others. Although I can't help you fully, I can send 10 array masters to you. They are all Imperial array masters. I believe they will be of great use to you. 10 Imperial array masters? Of course, it would be useful. Longao hurriedly thanked him. Thank you, master. Come with me. I have something to talk to you about. Without caring about Lin Junhong, Fantion got up and left the back mountain with Longao. Looking at the gradually disappearing figure, Lin Junhong, who was smiling just now, suddenly became gloomy. Chapter 1749. The Starry Sky Array can kill all martial artists under the starry sky. There was no doubt about it. Longao couldn't believe that his master had really set up the Starry Sky Array. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it. No matter who he believed, he wouldn't choose to believe it, let alone him. According to my calculations, the Starry Sky Array I set up this time should be able to kill a level 3 Starry Sky Cultivator. One word. Awesome. Do you know how I set up the Starry Sky Array? He shook his head. For the rest of the time, Longao stayed in the Starry Sky Array and didn't come out. For 2 days and 2 nights. No one knew exactly what the two of them had said or done. Master, I have something important to do. I'll go back to the Dragon Valley first. Well, you have to be careful of someone. Who? Longao was very curious. He didn't know who his master wanted him to be careful of. Could it be the Oracle? Or Long Tian or Tong Zun? Or Wan Shou ancestor? Lin Junhong. Hearing that the ancestor wanted him to be careful of Lin Junhong, Longao was a little dumbfounded. Because everyone knew that Lin Junhong was not only the master of Wanjan School, but also his master's disciple. He was also his senior brother. He had thought that this senior brother was not bad. In that case, why did his master want him to be careful of Lin Junhong? Was there something fishy? Longao knew very well that his master wouldn't say this for no reason. There are some things that I can't say much about. After all, I don't have any concrete evidence, but you just have to listen to me. Half an hour later, Longao left Wanjan School and returned to the Dragon Valley. On the way, Longao's mind was still a little confused. First, it was about his master, then the Starry Sky Array, and finally Lin Junhong. He couldn't accept it all at once. He shrugged helplessly. He didn't continue to dwell on this problem. Longao knew very well that the most important thing now was to find a way to deal with the Long family. Otherwise, if he missed this opportunity, it would be difficult to find another one in the future. Dragon Valley. Chief-elect, in the Burning Sky formation technique, other than the 3 formation techniques that I cannot teach you, you can learn the rest. However, you must guarantee that the Burning Sky formation technique will not be taught to anyone. He was overjoyed. The chief-elect was so excited that he immediately swore a blood oath. Longao didn't stop him. Longao had already told Burning Heaven's ancestor about the Burning Heaven's array arts. Burning Heaven's ancestor had no objection, but he couldn't pass on the 3 arrays. After swearing the blood oath, the chief-elect slowly took the array formation manual from Longao's hands. His hands trembled. Thank you, master. Chief-elect was in such a rush that he immediately left, found a secluded place, and began to cultivate. To a chief-elect, array formations were everything. Luli was very helpless. He smiled and said, Master, I've already followed your instructions. Out of the 500,000 corpse slaves, 400,000 corpse slaves have been sent to attack the Long family. The remaining 100,000 corpse slaves are on standby. Luli was very curious. He didn't know what the master meant. Why didn't he use all the corpse slaves to attack the Long family? Why did he only send out 400,000 corpse slaves? What was the use of the remaining 100,000 corpse slaves? Being able to guess what Luli was thinking, Longao didn't hide anything. He said, The reason why I left behind 100,000 corpse slaves is to deal with the Phoenix race. Hearing the master's words, Lu Li was a bit surprised. How could he not know about the grudge between the master and the Phoenix race? However, even if he wanted to take revenge, he wasn't in a rush. Why did he choose to deal with the Phoenix race at this time? After thinking for a while, Lu Li said, "Master, forgive me for being blunt. With the current situation, why don't we deal with the Long family first? As for the Phoenix race, we can think about it in the long run. There's no need to rush." With regards to Lu Li's worries, how could Longao not know? Facing the Long family, the Martial Artists Alliance, the Phoenix race, and even the Wan Shou sect at the same time wasn't a wise decision. Elder Lu Li, if we don't hold back the Phoenix race now, once the war starts, I believe that the Phoenix race will definitely take advantage of the situation to attack. Since that's the case, why don't we make the first move? As the saying goes, fake and real, real and fake. 100,000 corpse slaves are enough to deal with the Phoenix race. So that's how it is. Although Lu Li still didn't agree with this method, since the master had already decided, he didn't want to say anything more. This was because Lu Li knew that with the master's personality, he wouldn't act recklessly. The 500,000 corpse slaves were divided into two groups. One group attacked the Phoenix race, and the other group attacked the Long family. After the news spread out, the world was shocked. Could it be that Longao wanted to commit suicide? Long Tian and Long Di Tian never thought that the Longao would suddenly attack the Long family. According to Tong Zun's invitation, the Longao should be attacking the Martial Artists Alliance. Why did he suddenly attack them? What happened? If it was any other time, Long Tian wouldn't be afraid of the Longao. Even if the Longao had 500,000 corpse slaves, he still wouldn't be afraid. However, the current situation was a bit special. Fighting against the Wan Shou sect and the Longao at the same time was a bit difficult. If he had known this would happen, he would have taken a step back and continued to ally with the Wan Shou sect. Then, would the Longao still dare to be so arrogant? However, it was too late for regrets. Long Tian didn't just sit there and wait for his death. Luckily, the Wan Shou sect's ancestor hadn't lost his mind and was prepared to die together. Otherwise, if the Dragon sect and the Wan Shou sect joined forces, the Long family wouldn't be able to resist at all. No matter what, the current dragon race was no longer the dragon race of the past. It would be very difficult for them to help the Long family fight against the two superpowers. Just like that, Long Tian went all out to deal with the 400,000 corpse slaves. However, this was only the first wave. In less than a day, the Long family had already lost over 10,000 disciples. This kind of loss was something that Long Tian and Long Di Tian couldn't accept. If they continued to lose disciples at this rate, there would only be one result: the destruction of the family. They couldn't allow this to continue. In the end, Long Tian had no choice but to avoid fighting. Not only that, Long Tian tried everything he could to lure the corpse slaves into the dragon race. Because of the suppression of the starry sky, not to mention 400,000 corpse slaves, even an army of 4 million corpse slaves wouldn't be able to resist the starry sky's power. Would the corpse slaves fall for it? Of course not. This was what made Long Tian depressed. It wasn't just the Long family. The Phoenix race had also been attacked by the corpse slaves. Apart from Long Tian, the most depressed person was Lu Yi. She didn't know if the Longao had gone crazy. Why would he suddenly attack her? Could it be that he was so arrogant that he could fight against both the Long family and the Phoenix race by himself? P.S. All 10 chapters have been delivered. Little 9 is going to sleep. Good night, everyone. Chapter 1750. An army of 400,000 corpse slaves and an army of 100,000 corpse slaves were two completely different concepts. Even so, Lu Yi did not choose to fight head-on. Instead, she chose to shut herself in. Longao, who received the news, was not surprised at all. Instead, he calmed down a little. This was the effect he wanted. The army of 400,000 corpse slaves guarded the Long family tightly, but they did not take a step forward. Both sides were in a stalemate. As for the Thousand Beasts ancestor, he did not interfere when he saw Longao attacking the Long family. Instead, he pulled himself out and prepared to watch the show. The Thousand Beasts' ancestor's intention was very simple. He wanted to watch the fight from the other side. Anger. Endless anger. Now that the Long family was trapped, the Thousand Beasts sect was prepared to watch the fight from the other side. This made Long Tian want to immediately start a war with the Thousand Beasts sect. However, due to the army of 400,000 corpse slaves, he could only be angry but could not do anything. Tian, contact Longao and tell him that I want to negotiate with him. Hearing the ancestor's words, Long Tian was shocked. Negotiate? If he took the initiative to negotiate, wouldn't he be telling the world that the Long family had admitted defeat? Where would their dignity go? Being forced into this state by a trash from a 9th-rank family, Long Tian felt like dying. He wanted to dig a hole in the ground and crawl into it. Ancestor. As if he had already guessed what Long Tian was thinking, Long Tian also sighed deeply and said, Tian, with our current situation, if we choose to fight head-on, there will only be one result, and that is that both sides will suffer heavy losses. Many people are watching, and I can guarantee that once we suffer heavy losses, the other sects will definitely not sit idly by. If they choose to take advantage of the situation, we will be in great trouble. Even so, there was no need to initiate negotiations. It was simply a great humiliation. There is only one thing we need to do now. First, stabilize Longao. Later, I will try my best to break through to the Starry Sky Realm. Once my cultivation reaches the Starry Sky Realm, a small Longao. He did not continue, but the coldness in Long Tian's eyes had already told Long Tian what he meant. At this point, what else could Long Tian say? Several hours later, after receiving the news, Longao said directly, Elder Luli, help me reply to Long Tian. Tell him that there's no room for negotiation. Let's fight first. It seemed that the master and the Long family had a grudge against each other. Long family members had taken the initiative to make peace, but the master was still not satisfied. As an elder of the sect, Luli knew what to ask and what not to ask. Without any hesitation, Luli immediately got her subordinates to spread the news. What? He punched the air. Perhaps Long Tian had used a little too much strength due to his anger, but the entire hall shook a little. Anger. Endless anger. Long Tian had never imagined that Longao would still refuse even after he had taken the initiative to ask for peace. Just what was Longao trying to do? They had gone too far. This was simply going too far. Old ancestor, this battle is unavoidable. Longao's attitude has already been made clear. If we keep backing down, it will only fuel Longao's arrogance. We're not as good as him. Before Long Tian could finish speaking, Long Tian had already waved his hand and said helplessly, a little impatience will spoil great plans. We must stay calm. Otherwise, we will be tricked by Longao. Tricked? Where did this come from? Long Tian could not understand. He always felt that the old ancestor was a little timid. Longao also saw this point, which was why he dared to be so arrogant. Otherwise, even if Longao was given 10,000 guts, Longao would not dare to do this. Longao is obviously trying to anger us. Although I don't know what Longao is trying to do, it's better to be careful. He was helpless. However, since the old ancestor had already said so, even if Long Tian was unwilling, he could only accept it silently. Old ancestor, what should we do now? Fighting with silence, I also want to see what Longao will do next. 9 provinces continent. In the Dragon Valley. Master, what should we do now? After hearing Lu Li's report, Longao was not surprised at all. This was because he had already guessed that with Long Tian's personality, he would definitely not take the risk to attack. The best move was to stay still. It seemed that his guess was not wrong. Since Long Tian wants to stay still, we will fulfill his wish. Elder Lu Li, from now on, the 400,000 corpse slaves will attack the Long family with all their strength. It would be best if we can force the Long family into the Dragon Clan. Master, even if we can do it, the Dragon Clan has the power of the starry sky. As long as the Long family does not come out, we can't do anything. If this stalemate continues, not only will it not be good for the Long family, it won't be good for us either. Lu Li was very worried because a protracted battle would not benefit the Long family or the Dragon sect. The best way was to end the battle quickly. I understand what you're saying. Do as I say. As for forcing the Long family into the Dragon Clan, I have a way to deal with it. Understood. Elder Luli did not continue. She immediately turned and left to make arrangements. Long family. Longao also understood. A few years ago, he was still a piece of trash from a 9th-rank family in Scarlet Flame Town. In just a few short years, he had grown to the point where he could shake the Long family. The Long family had to be destroyed. This was the grand goal that Longao had set many years ago. He wanted the Dragon Sect to replace the Long family. At that time, the Dragon Sect would no longer be divided into ranks. In the entire Martial Heaven continent, including the other continents, there would only be one Dragon Sect. It was not just Longao. Even Long Tian and Long Di Tian would not have thought that a piece of trash, an ant-like existence in their eyes, would be able to shake their positions. It was hard to believe. The truth was right in front of them. Let alone Longao and Long Tian. Even the others found it hard to believe. However, strictly speaking, in the eyes of outsiders, the battle between the Longao and Long Tian was still an internal battle. Even if Longao had established his own sect, in the eyes of outsiders, the Dragon Sect and the Long family were still part of the same sect. Everyone was waiting to watch a good show. It would be best if both sides were heavily injured. That way, the other sects would be able to take advantage of the situation to divide the Dragon Sect and the Long family. However, no one was optimistic about the Dragon Sect. No matter what, the Long family's foundation was right there. One had developed for over 10,000 years, while the other had only developed for a few years. The two could not be compared. Now, they wanted to see how the Long family would deal with it. After all, the Myriad Beast sect was also eyeing them. If they had the chance, the Myriad Beast sect would definitely not let the Long family off. Looking at the disappointed Di Tian, Long Tian suddenly said, "Do you know what the nemesis of corpse demons is? The power of lightning. Undoubtedly, no matter if it was corpse slaves or soul slaves, the bane of all of them was the power of lightning. However, among the 10 powers, only the Violet Thunder sect had the power to unleash the power of lightning. Everyone knew that the relationship between the Violet Thunder sect and the Dragon sect was extremely good. Wanting the Violet Thunder sect to help him was simply wishful thinking. Long Tian didn't know what the old ancestor meant by saying that. Di Tian, have you heard of a divine artifact, the Ice-Fire Ninefold Cauldron? Ice-Fire Ninefold Cauldron? Hearing the old ancestor mention the divine artifact, Long Di Tian was shocked. Nodding his head heavily, Long Di Tian said with yearning, "Of course I have. According to the legends, the Ice-Fire Ninefold Cauldron is known as the strongest divine artifact under the starry sky. It has 2 killing moves, the Ice-Fire Ninefold Cauldron and the Ice-Fire Ninefold Cauldron, which can kill all martial artists under the starry sky. However, the Ice-Fire Ninefold Cauldron has always been a legend, and no one has ever seen it before." Just as he finished speaking, Long Di Tian seemed to have thought of something. His face was instantly shocked to the extreme. Long Di Tian said, "Forefather, don't tell me that you have already obtained the Ice-Fire Ninefold Cauldron?" It was a little too shocking. It wasn't that Long Di Tian didn't believe it, but it was indeed a little unbelievable. The Ice-Fire Ninefold Cauldron was known as the strongest divine artifact under the starry sky. Its power was terrifying. Long Di Tian was very curious. This was a legendary super divine artifact that no one had ever seen before. Why did the old ancestor suddenly mention it? He must have already obtained it. Ha ha ha, Honored Tong and I have already obtained the origin energy. We can be considered as the people chosen by the divine mathematician. In order to show his approval, the divine mathematician gave us each an Ice-Fire Ninefold Cauldron. F***CK. Even Long Di Tian couldn't help but curse in his heart when he heard the old ancestor's words. The two of them had already obtained the origin energy. If nothing unexpected happened, the two of them would definitely reach the starry sky realm. This was a great opportunity in itself. The divine mathematician also gave each of them an Ice-Fire Ninefold Cauldron. It could be said that the two of them had the strongest divine artifact under the starry sky. It was more than enough for them to be in an invincible position. Obtaining the divine mathematician's approval was a precursor to walking to the peak. Long Tian wasn't jealous at all, because he knew very well that if the old ancestor could break through to the starry sky realm, it would be a great thing for him and the sect. Chapter 1752. Jinling's primordial spirit. The original body might be feared, but now everyone wanted to find Jinling's primordial spirit. It was nothing to worry about. As for the corpse slave army, once Longao lost the help of the corpse slave army, could he continue to be so arrogant? The army of 400,000 corpse slaves stood guard outside the Longshire clan. Each of them was expressionless, like a group of zombies. Dition, after the corpse slave army is destroyed, you will immediately spread the news. Understood. Long Dition, of course, knew what the old ancestor meant. Since he had already used the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron, the old ancestor would definitely not continue to endure. Even if the old ancestor's cultivation base had not broken through to the starry sky realm, with the old ancestor's strength, coupled with the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron, he was definitely the number one under the starry sky. Even Xingqiren was no match for the old ancestor. Cold eyes. A terrifying killing intent erupted from his body. Killing intent filled the air. Originally, he did not want to use the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron so early, but Long Ao had gone too far, causing Long Tian to endure again and again. Unable to endure, there was no need to endure. At this moment, Long Tian took out a small black cauldron from his chest. The style was very strange, giving people a strange feeling. Burning to the 8 desolates. Without any hesitation, Long Tian used the power in his body to activate the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron. Suddenly, a terrifying flame erupted from the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron. Before the 400,000 corpse slave army could react, they were already enveloped by endless flames. Burning to the 8 desolates, burning everything. This was the power of flames. Ha 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 ha, the number one divine weapon under the starry sky, the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron, has reappeared in the world. From now on, I want to see who dares to go against me. Long Tian, ha 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 ha, crazy laughter. The 400,000 corpse slave army, under normal circumstances, was indeed very powerful. No matter which of the 10 directions tripod it was, they would not dare to choose to fight force with force. What happened to the Long clan was an example. Long family was forced to not come out by the 400,000 corpse slave army. In just a few minutes, an entire 200,000 corpse slave army had fallen. What kind of concept was this? One could imagine how powerful the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron in Long Tian's hands was. Ice ceiling 10,000 miles. The power of the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron changed rapidly. Just a moment ago, it was still boundless flames that could burn everything. Now, it exploded with the power of ice, freezing everything within 10,000 miles. Fire and ice, two extreme powers, water and fire were incompatible. 200,000 corpse slaves from the army of 400,000 had already fallen. He was annihilated. The remaining 200,000 corpse slaves were instantly frozen by the power of frost. Break. The word, shatter. All of the corpses exploded. This was the terrifying power of ice sealing 10,000 miles. The ice-fire 9-layered cauldron had 2 ultimate attacks, icebound 10,000 miles and incinerated 8 desolates. No matter which kind of power it was an extremely terrifying power. The originally powerful army of 400,000 corpse demons was destroyed by Long Tian in less than 3 minutes. Strictly speaking, they were destroyed by the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron in Long Tian's hands. Although he already knew that the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron was definitely very powerful, Long Tian was still dumbfounded when he saw the destruction just now. Was this the legendary ice-fire 9-layered cauldron? What a terrifying ice-fire 9-layered cauldron. Long Tian was almost certain that even if his cultivation had broken through to the Nirvana rebirth realm, he would not be able to withstand such destruction. It was too terrifying. No wonder the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron was known as the number one divine artifact under the starry sky. Even an army of 400,000 corpse slaves couldn't withstand it for 3 minutes. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, it would have been hard to believe. Longao is truly a character. To be able to refine such a corpse slave army, it's hard to imagine. If Longao were to refine an even stronger corpse slave army, how would we deal with it? After saying this, Long Dition felt a little regretful. If it was in the past, he would definitely be extremely fearful of Longao. This was because with such an army of corpse slaves, not to mention him, he believed that anyone would have a headache. But now, the situation had completely reversed. Not to mention the current corpse slave army, even if Longao could continue to refine stronger corpse slaves, he believed that he wouldn't be able to withstand the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron in the hands of the old ancestor. Long Tian smiled and said, "With the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron in our hands, no matter who it is, we can ignore them." Tian, has the news spread? It has already spread. I believe that it won't be long before everyone in the world knows about this, including Longao. He was very satisfied. This was the effect of using the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron this time. With the destruction of the 400,000 corpse slaves, he could intimidate the world and even the Wanshou sect. If the Wanshou sect still dared to ask for a beating, he would directly attack the Wanshou sect. With the help of such a super divine tool, Long Tian was very confident that even the Wanshou sect wouldn't be his match. However, unless it was absolutely necessary, he didn't want to make a move casually. The first to receive the news was Tong Zun. He was very shocked because he never thought that Long Tian would really use the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron. It seemed that the 400,000 corpse slaves really scared Long Tian. Tong Zun wasn't afraid at all because he also had the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron. Even if they were to fight, he wouldn't lose to Long Tian. Moreover, the two of them had a tacit understanding. They both had obtained the origin energy. Whether it was now or in the future when they reached the starry sky realm, they wouldn't interfere with each other. Wanshou sect. The Wanshou sect also received the news, but he wasn't as open-minded as Tong Zun. After all, he didn't have the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron. He couldn't figure out why the legendary top divine tool under the stars, the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron, was in Long Tian's hands. In terms of strength, Long Tian wasn't his match at all. But now, with the super divine tool in his hand, the Wanshou sect no longer had any confidence. He was worried. He had the upper hand at first, but now he was at a disadvantage. If Long Tian chose to deal with him, wouldn't he be in trouble? He couldn't figure it out. Envy, jealousy, and hatred. The myriad beasts' ancestor was envious to the extreme. Helpless, the Wanshou sect said slowly, "Long Tian, you win. But don't get carried away. You have the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron. I will find a way to restrain you. One day, I will make the Long family surrender, and so will you. You will." From the beginning to the end, the Wanshou sect didn't believe that Longao could destroy the Long family. After all, the gap between them was too big. They weren't on the same level at all. The Wanshou sect had always wanted to destroy the Long family, or even the other sects, so that he could dominate the world and become the top of the Tianwu continent, or the top under the stars. However, it seemed that his wish was a bit difficult. After all, Xing Kuan and Long Tian alone were difficult to deal with, especially Long Tian, who had the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron. P.S. Xiao Ju disconnected from the internet. He stayed up late to write and try to update 5 chapters tomorrow. As for tomorrow night, he will definitely continue to write after he comes back. As for how many chapters tomorrow, Xiao Ju doesn't know. Anyway, the more the better. Chapter 1753. 9 Provinces Continent. Dragon Valley. What? The 400,000 corpse demon army was completely annihilated? Hearing Lu Li's report, Longao was shocked. His face was filled with disbelief. Longao was extremely clear about the power of the 400,000 corpse demon army. Even if Long Tian personally took action, it would be impossible for him to destroy the 400,000 corpse demon army. Elder Lu Li, what happened? The matter could be big or small. Lu Li did not dare to hesitate in the slightest. She immediately recounted the news she had received in full detail. What is the ice-fire 9-layered cauldron? Long Ao gradually calmed down, because he was very clear that according to Lu Li, The reason why Long Tian was able to destroy the 400,000 corpse demon army in a short 3 minutes was because of this divine artifact. Ice Fire, 9-layered cauldron. What the hell was this? He had never heard of it before. Master, you don't know, but there has always been a legend in the Sky Martial continent. Luli sighed, because he never thought that the legendary Ice Fire, 9-layered cauldron would appear in the world, and it was even owned by Long Tian. Legend has it that the number 1 divine artifact under the starry sky, the Ice Fire 9-layered cauldron, possesses 2 extreme powers, the power of fire and the power of ice. Legends have always been legends, and no one has ever seen it before. There was no need to say more. Longao already knew. To be able to wipe out the entire corpse demon army in a short 3 minutes, this in itself already showed how powerful this so-called number 1 divine artifact under the starry sky was. It would be a lie to say that he was not afraid. Master, since Long Tian has the Ice Fire 9-layered cauldron, it's not suitable for us to fight head-on. Nodding, Longao expressed his agreement. At this moment, we want to retreat, but I'm afraid some people can't. You stay here. I'll be back soon. With a stride, Longao's figure disappeared. About 1,000 meters away from the Dragon Valley, in the 9 heavens, thousands of miles of clouds. Longao, your 400,000 corpse demon army has been completely annihilated by me. If you have any other moves, feel free to use them. Today, I want to see what other killing moves you have. Contempt. It was an instant kill. Ever since the Ice Fire 9-layered cauldron was exposed, Long Tian had clearly become arrogant, as if he was the number 1 expert in the world and deserved a beating. Long Tian had the right to be arrogant. Just the Ice Fire 9-fold cauldron in his hands was enough to make him invincible. With a calm expression, Longao said indifferently, Long Tian, the grudge between us will be resolved sooner or later. However, now is not the time. Are you scared? I'm not afraid. You and your Long family have been developing for tens of thousands of years, but I and the Dragon Sect have only been developing for a few years. I don't believe that I can shake you now. Long Tian didn't say anything, but his face was filled with pride. 10,000 years ago, during the era of the strong contending for hegemony, he had forcefully fought for a piece of land that belonged to him. Not to mention others, even he himself admired himself very much. In fact, Long Tian was a very narcissistic person. Long Tian, if you want to fight, I will fulfill your wish very soon. If it was someone else, Long Tian could wait for 100 years, 1,000 years, or even 10,000 years, not to mention a short time, because he didn't care about others at all. Except for Longao. Longao was a variable that even he couldn't control. If he hadn't witnessed Longao's growth with his own eyes, even if he was beaten to death, he wouldn't believe that someone could have such achievements in just a few years. Longao's situation was very special. Longao didn't dare to wait, because he didn't know how far Longao would grow if he continued to wait. Thinking of this, Longao, my request is very simple. As long as you can withstand my Ice Fire 9-fold cauldron, then within a year, I won't come looking for you again. How about it? You're really shameless. Although he was very confident in his own strength, Longao still had self-awareness. With Long Tian's ******, even if it was an army of 400,000 corpse slaves, he could take care of it in just 3 minutes. From this, one could imagine how terrifying the other party's super divine tool was. He simply couldn't contend against the Ice Fire 9-fold cauldron. Are you afraid? It was this sentence again. How could Longao not know that this was Long Tian's provocation in order to trick him? Long Tian's meaning was already very clear. If you don't remove the roots, it will grow again when the spring breeze blows, letting the tiger return to the mountain, eliminating all future troubles. We'll meet again. Reason suppressed the impulse. He clearly knew that he wasn't Long Tian's opponent, so why would he still want to meet force with force? Not to mention the Ice Fire 9-fold cauldron. Just Long Tian's strength was not something he could contend against. As the saying goes, it's never too late for a gentleman to take revenge. Longao was very confident in his own talent. Even if he wasn't Long Tian's opponent now, what about in the future? Want to leave? This time, Long Tian had clearly come prepared. He directly used his divine tool to interfere with the surrounding spatial fluctuations. As expected, Longao couldn't enter the dragon seal space, but he could use spatial teleportation. Longao used spatial teleportation and disappeared in a few teleportations. However, Long Tian had come prepared. How could he let Longao leave so easily? Longao's variables were too great. This time, no matter what happened, he had to deal with Longao. Long Tian's speed was also very fast. Although he still couldn't catch up to Longao, it didn't matter. Long Tian had never thought of relying on speed to kill Longao. Ice Fire Ninefold Cauldron. Icebound 10,000 miles. Long Tian's icebound 10,000 miles might not be able to reach 10,000 miles, but based on the distance between the two of them, it was more than enough to freeze Longao. Longao, who was preparing to return to the Dragon Valley, suddenly felt his body being frozen. It was as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. Was this the two extreme powers of the Ice Fire Nine-Layered Cauldron? Was this the so-called Icebound 10,000 miles? What a terrifying power. Longao finally understood why Long Tian could rely on this divine tool to kill his army of 400,000 corpse demons. Such a super divine tool was too powerful. Longao was very clear in his heart that he had to break the icebound 10,000 miles as soon as possible, because once the icebound 10,000 miles was broken, his body would also break. At that time, he would die without a doubt. Longao could almost say that no matter who it was, they wouldn't be able to withstand this killing move. Even the army of 400,000 corpse demons wouldn't be able to withstand it. What should he do? At this critical moment, Longao quickly used all his strength, hoping to break the icebound 10,000 miles. Otherwise, he would only be killed by the power of ice. Ha ha ha, Longao. Even if your strength is heavenly, you won't be able to break my icebound 10,000 miles. I'll let you experience the true power of the Ice Fire Nine-Layered Cauldron. As if he couldn't wait any longer, Long Tian impatiently shouted, "Break?" Chapter 1754. Long Tian didn't even use burning to desolation, because in his opinion, merely the ice ceiling 10,000 miles was enough to obliterate Longao. The confined space was shattered. According to Long Tian's estimation, Longao had probably turned into ashes and disappeared from this world forever. Longao, you still died in my hands in the end. Ha 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 ha. Thinking that he had killed Longao in the end, Long Tian suddenly laughed maniacally, eliminating all future troubles. Becoming famous in the world. Longao, who no one could kill, was killed by him. I seal is just so. Just as Long Tian was laughing maniacally, he suddenly heard a voice in front of him. He was stunned. Longao didn't die? Impossible. This was absolutely impossible. How could Longao possibly survive under the ice ceiling 10,000 miles? It was almost impossible. Was it an illusion? Not to mention Long Tian, no matter who it was, they wouldn't believe that there was a martial artist who could survive under ice seal. Seems like Longao has become my inner demon. Fortunately, I've settled it. Otherwise, there would be endless trouble. Just as Long Tian thought that he was hallucinating, Longao's voice came again. Long Tian, your ice seal didn't succeed in killing me. If I were you, I would go home and buy 2 pounds of tofu to slowly kill myself. You were so confident that you could be invincible with the help of Ice Fire Ninth Layer Cauldron. You are really arrogant. Illusion? The first time was an illusion. Was the second time also an illusion? In an instant, it was definitely not an illusion. Long Tian looked left and right, but he couldn't find Longao's trace. Where was he? Longao, if you're still a man, show yourself and fight. Why are you sneaking around? You are simply a coward. Before Long Tian could finish speaking, a ray of reincarnation sword chi shot towards him. Fortunately, Long Tian dodged in time. Otherwise, this sword alone was enough to take his life. He was furious. Long Tian had never thought that Long Tian could survive under his ice seal. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, it would have been hard to believe. Was this for real? Even now, Long Tian still couldn't believe it. Coward? Long Tian, I will definitely find you in the future. I hope that you will not be a coward then. Long Tian sighed deeply. Long Tian knew that Longao had already left. As for attacking Long Tian's Dragon Valley, he knew that even if he had the Ice Fire Ninth Layer Cauldron, he wouldn't be able to break through Dragon Valley's defense. Within the Dragon Seal space, Longao's face was pale, and he looked very weak. Big brother Long Tian, are you all right? Bai Ling asked with a concerned look on her face. If it weren't for the Dragon Valley, Bai Ling would have most likely already transferred her power to him. Tian Tian Tian, Tian Tians, Tian, Tian, to Tian's Tians. I'm fine. As expected of the number 1 divine artifact under the starry skies. If it weren't for Long Fu's help, I'm afraid I would have to reincarnate again. Bai Ling's eyes gradually turned red. She could clearly sense that Tian's condition was very bad. If it weren't for Long Fu's timely intervention, something would have happened to Tian. She was worried, extremely worried. Gently holding Bai Ling's hand, Longao said, I'm fine. Seemingly not wanting to dwell on this issue, Longao came to Long Fu and said, Long Fu, you've seen the power of Long Tian's Ice Fire Ninth Layer Cauldron. Do you have any way to deal with it? After personally experiencing the power of the Ice Fire Ninth Layer Cauldron, Longao couldn't help but sigh. It was indeed the number 1 divine artifact under the starry sky. He was no match for the Ice Fire Ninth Layer Cauldron at all. Master, I was just lucky. The Ice Fire Ninth Layer Cauldron is very powerful. Unless you're a starry sky expert, you won't be able to block it. Longao was a bit depressed. He didn't know how such a legendary divine artifact had appeared in Long Tian's hands. Since that was the case, why didn't Long Tian dominate the martial heaven continent? After all, with Long Tian's power and the number 1 divine artifact under the starry sky, he was an undefeatable existence. Unless the patriarch, the godly mathematician, or the heavenly Daos personally descended, they returned to the Dragon Valley. Liuli, I believe you already know about the Ice Fire Ninth Layer Cauldron. I've already seen it. Its power is too terrifying. No one under the starry sky is a match for it. Do you have any way to deal with Long Tian? Although Liuli was just the master of a third-rate sect, Longao valued him greatly. Otherwise, he wouldn't have kept Liuli by his side. He wouldn't have told Yunluishan and Yunfeng to hold back in the massacre abyss. How could Liuli not know what the master meant? Liuli was shocked. He had never imagined that the master had left just to fight with Long Tian. Furthermore, he had successfully returned from the Ice Fire Ninth Layer Cauldron. He was very clear about the master's power. Although his trump cards were very powerful, he was still a Unity of Heaven expert. Just how had the master done it? Liuli couldn't figure it out, but he didn't dwell on it. The fact that the master had been able to block the Ice Fire Ninth Layer Cauldron was a good thing. However, Liuli also knew that the master had definitely suffered a great loss. Otherwise, the master wouldn't have acted like this. Thinking about it, Liuli helplessly said, Master, the legends say that the Ice Fire Ninth Layer Cauldron is the number 1 divine item under the starry sky. Legends are just legends in the end. No one has ever seen the true Ice Fire Ninth Layer Cauldron, so there's no way to deal with it. Longao wasn't the slightest bit surprised. He had already guessed it. Long Tian possessed such a supreme divine item. It was hard to imagine that other than the God Diviner, the Heavenly Das, and the Patriarch, there was no one else on the martial heaven continent who could be a match for Long Tian. It would be unrealistic to say that he didn't feel pained after losing 400,000 corpse demons. However, Longao wasn't too depressed. He had already reached this point, so he could only continue forward. If he turned back or stayed where he was, there would only be one result waiting for him: his own destruction. Making a prompt decision, Longao recalled the 100,000 corpse demon army that was guarding outside the Phoenix Peak. This was because the current dragon sect, including the Dragon Valley, did not have more than 300,000 corpse demon army. It seemed a little difficult to rely on the 300,000 corpse demon army to achieve anything. Not to mention the others, just Long Tian and the Ice Fire 9-layered cauldron in Long Tian's hand. Not to mention the 300,000 corpse demon army, even 3 million corpse demon army would not be enough. He had to refine a new corpse demon army. Not only that, But Longao was also very clear that in the current situation, no matter how many ordinary corpse demons he refined, they wouldn't be of much use. If he had to refine one, he had to refine one. After thinking about it, Longao finally chose to refine a corpse slave above the divine Tao level. In other words, the divine Tao level was the foundation for this refinement, and the supreme divine Tao level was the basic requirement. The Nirvana realm corpse slave was the most ideal refinement. He wasn't greedy. If he could refine an army of 1 million corpse demons, as long as there were 1,000 Nirvana realm corpse demons, 500,000 supreme divine Tao corpse demons, and 500,000 divine Tao corpse demons, he would be able to move unhindered in the world. However, he had to avoid Long Tian. Strictly speaking, he had to avoid the ice fire 9th layer cauldron in Long Tian's hand. Long Fu, what I said just now, how confident are you? When can you refine it for me as soon as possible? Master, your request isn't too difficult. However, if you want to refine a corpse demon army, the first thing you have to do is find a suitable corpse and divine soul. Where does Master want to find a corpse demon army of 1 million? Long Fu's meaning was very simple. There wasn't any problem with the refinement. The only problem was the supply. No matter what, an army of 1 million corpse demons wasn't a small matter. Even the weakest corpse demon couldn't be weaker than a divine Tao corpse demon. Longao naturally knew that the biggest problem was the supply. If there was a supply, not to mention an army of 1 million corpse demons, even an army of 10 million corpse demons wouldn't be a problem. Since Long Fu didn't have the slightest problem, then there was only one thing he had to consider: the supply. Killing martial artists and refining corpse demons wasn't too realistic. Longao wasn't willing to do this. Not to mention other things, just his own heart couldn't get over it. He wasn't a homicidal maniac. He would kill his enemies, but not others. This was Longao's bottom line. Therefore, all along, the corpse demons that Longao had refined, even including soul demons, were rarely human aside from his enemies. Most of them were spirit beasts. Although there wasn't much difference between spirit beasts and humans, if he had to choose between the two, he wouldn't hesitate to refine spirit beasts and not human martial artists. This was also his bottom line, a bottom line that couldn't be touched. Where could he find a supply? Could he go to the spirit beast forest or the spirit beast mountain range? Master, are you going to continue refining corpse demons? Yes. He didn't hide anything. As for how Luli knew about this, the reason was simple. This time, they had lost an army of 400,000 corpse demons. It was a heavy loss. Luli was completely sure that the master would continue refining corpse demons. Although the Dragon Sect was already one of the top 10 forces, its foundation was the weakest among all the super forces. The Dragon Sect relied entirely on the corpse demon army. In the current situation, they could only refine a new corpse demon army as fast as possible. Master, I previously discovered that 90% of the corpse demon army you refined were spirit beasts. I know what Master is thinking. I'm just saying that many martial artists are evil people. Even if they aren't now, they were in the past. Towards these people, Master, why should you be soft-hearted? Aside from refining them into corpse demons to help you, we can also be considered as getting rid of a scourge for the world. Continue. Longao really wanted to continue listening because he felt that what Luli said was very reasonable. After all, martial artists and spirit beasts were similar. In fact, spirit beasts were more innocent. Some people, or rather many people, were very shameless. They were wolves in sheep's clothing and specialized in doing bad things. Master, my meaning is very simple. Comparing martial artists and spirit beasts, martial artists like them shouldn't be living in this world. Longao completely understood. However, he still said helplessly, Elder Luli, even if I understand what you mean, I can't do this. Chapter 1755. Master, why are you doing this? Luli couldn't figure it out. In his opinion, this kind of scum should die early and reincarnate early. Let's not talk about whether or not we can kill these people. Just where to find them is the biggest problem. Killing hundreds or thousands of them was practically useless to him right now. Where would he find 1 million cultivators? Lu Li's expression was grave. He was very clear that millions of cultivators, especially powerful divine path and peerless divine path cultivators, were not easy to find. If he could kill anyone he saw, it would be very simple. However, the master definitely wouldn't agree. There was no doubt about it. Master, why don't we choose the outer sea? The outer sea? Longao didn't continue asking. He couldn't wait to leave the Dragon Valley and comprehend the outer sea as quickly as possible. The Tianwu continent was divided into 5 major continents: the Eastern continent, the Western region continent, the Southern Sea continent, the Northern Plains continent, and the Central Tianwu continent. The Southern Sea continent was the so-called Outer Sea. The Outer Sea was boundless. It was said that no one could cross the entire Outer Sea, not even Nirvana realm cultivators. Not only that, but the Outer Sea's divine beasts were incomparably powerful. No one knew how many divine beasts there were in the Outer Sea. Longao, I really don't understand. Why did you choose the Outer Sea and not the continent? Xiling was very puzzled. When it came to divine beasts, even if there weren't as many on the land as in the Outer Sea, there were still more than enough to spare. Not to mention millions of divine beasts, even tens of millions of divine beasts would be a piece of cake. As for killing them, with Longao's current strength, killing divine beasts or even peerless divine beasts would be a piece of cake. As for the divine beasts of the sea and the divine beasts of the land, it was very simple. Once the divine beasts of the sea entered the land, their strength would be greatly reduced. As for the divine beasts of the land, once they entered the sea, it would be the same. However, for Longao, whether it was the divine beasts of the sea or the divine beasts of the land, it was all the same. It's very simple. I want to use the corpse slaves refined from the Outer Sea divine beasts to set up a super formation. Super formation? Xiling grew more and more curious. He didn't know what kind of formation it was that it would require millions of corpse slaves. Not only that, but millions of corpse slaves from the Outer Sea. As if he could guess what Xiling was thinking, Longao continued, "My formation requires the Outer Sea divine beasts. I hope this formation will be able to deal with Long Tion." This was why Longao couldn't wait to get his hands on millions of corpse slaves and set up a super formation. He hoped to use the power of the super formation to deal with Long Tion's ice fire 9-layered cauldron. The formation Longao wanted to set up this time was called the 9 Heavens 10 Earths Killing Formation. It was a 9 Heavens 10 Earths Killing Formation that had been improved by himself. Not only that, but Longao also used millions of corpse slaves from the Outer Sea divine beasts as the formation core. This way, the power of the 9 Heavens 10 Earths Killing Formation would increase tenfold. Even so, it still wasn't enough. Longao was ready to ask his master for help. Both master and disciple, as well as chief-elect, hoped to increase the power of the 9 Heavens 10 Earths Killing Formation. Even if it couldn't reach the Starry Sky Formation realm, it should at least be above the God-level formation realm. In other words, it should be above the God-level formation realm and be below the Starry Sky formation realm. The overlord of the Outer Sea was the so-called Mythical Island. As for the other 3 islands outside of the Mythical Island, they were the Nirvana Island, Illusion Island, and Heavenly Demon Island. After so many years, the strength of these 3 islands was comparable to the Mythical Island. If they weren't afraid of the Mythical Island, they would have already taken action. Longao's previous matter had angered everyone. After all, the news that Longao was still alive had spread. "Brother Long, why did you come to the Outer Sea?" Madman Yu was very surprised because he never thought that Longao would suddenly come to the Outer Sea. The previous matter hadn't been resolved yet. What happened to Longao? Longao didn't hide anything because the Outer Sea was too big and there were too many forbidden areas. He didn't want to cause any trouble, so he asked his friend, Madman Yi, for help. It could be said that the two didn't know each other until they fought. "Brother Yi, the purpose of my visit this time is very simple. I want millions of divine beasts from the Outer Sea. It would be great if I could find a supreme divine beast or a nirvana divine beast. I don't know much about the Outer Sea, so I hope you can help me." Everyone was shocked. Even if they weren't afraid of divine beasts below the nirvana realm, they still couldn't help but be surprised when they heard that Longao wanted millions of divine beasts. However, Madman Yi didn't ask anything because he was very clear about what should be asked and what shouldn't be asked between friends. If Longao was willing to tell him, then even if he didn't ask, he believed that Longao would tell him. If Longao didn't want to tell him, then even if he asked, Longao might not tell him. Brother Long, I understand. There are many forbidden areas in the outer sea. Even I, and even the old ancestor, don't know all of them. However, I know many places where you can hunt many divine beasts. Moreover, there aren't any powerful nirvana divine beasts guarding them. It's very suitable for your situation. Anyway, I don't have anything to do, so I just happened to bump into you. But after this matter is over, you must treat me to a drink. No problem. Longao didn't say thank you because he was very clear that if one day Madman Yi came to find him for something, he would also do the same and wouldn't ask why. This was what friends were like. Madman Yi was worthy of being called a wily old fox in the outer sea. Wherever he brought Longao, there were strange divine beasts everywhere. As for ordinary divine beasts, Longao had no use for them. Not only that, there were also a lot of supreme divine beasts. As for Nirvana realm divine beasts, they were very rare. Even so, Longao was very pleasantly surprised. Without the slightest hesitation, the two of them started a massacre. Both of them were Nirvana realm martial artists, so killing divine beasts or supreme divine beasts was more than enough for them. Even with the strength of Longao and Madman Yi, it took them 3 days and 3 nights to kill millions of divine beasts or supreme divine beasts. The rest of the matter was left to Long Fu. According to Long Fu, it would take at least half a month to refine 1,000,000 corpse slaves, 990,000 divine beasts, 10,000 supreme divine beasts, and less than 20 Nirvana realm divine beasts. After half a month, as long as the corpse slave army was refined, they would be able to arrange the 9 heavens and 10 earths killing formation. Even Longao was looking forward to the power of the 9 heavens and 10 earths killing formation. He wanted to see whether Long Tian's ice fire, 9-layered cauldron, or his 9 heavens and 10 earths killing formation was more powerful. Until the last moment, even Longao didn't have the slightest confidence that he could win. Brother Long, are you leaving the outer endless sea? Yes, there are still many things on the continent. After I'm done, I will definitely come back and drink with you. Longao also found that he and Madman Yi got along very well. They weren't just friends, they were like brothers. Although the two of them didn't say it out loud, they were very clear in their hearts. Brother Long, if you can wait a few more days, I want to take you to a place. Where? Longao was very curious because he knew very well in his heart that if it wasn't an urgent matter, Lunatic Yi would definitely not speak. It was precisely because of this that he became even more curious. He really wanted to hear where Lunatic Yi wanted to bring him to. Brother Dragon, I've already said that the outer sea is boundless. There are many forbidden areas. I know some of them, but I don't know about some of them. Among all the forbidden areas that I know, there's one that I want to explore. However, it's very difficult for me to enter this space with my strength alone. I hope you can lend me a hand. As for whether Brother Dragon is willing to enter this space, it's up to you. Let's go. So that's how it is. Such a simple matter, Longao naturally wouldn't refuse. The two of them immediately got up. With the water avoidance beads on their bodies, even if they entered the sea, the surrounding water wouldn't be able to touch them. The two of them moved very quickly. There were corals everywhere. If Madman Yi hadn't brought him here, Longao knew that he wouldn't have been able to find this place. He asked, Brother Yi, what is this place? Apart from me, no one should know about this forbidden area. I accidentally obtained a sheepskin. The specific location of this place is drawn on it. According to the sheepskin, there is a Starry Sky divine tool left behind by a Starry Sky martial artist in this space. Brother Long, I believe you should know about Starry Sky divine tool. Longao nodded in surprise. Of course, he knew what a Starry Sky divine tool meant. It could be said that if he could have a Starry Sky divine tool, it would be more than enough to kill a Starry Sky martial artist. Brother Yi, in that case, I will help you enter this space. If we find a Starry Sky divine tool, the first Starry Sky divine tool will belong to you, the second Starry Sky divine tool will belong to me, and so on. How about it? No. Without waiting for Longao to speak, Madman Yi continued, Brother Long. If we are lucky enough to find a Starry Sky Divine Tool, the first Starry Sky Divine Tool will belong to you. The second Starry Sky Divine Tool will belong to me, and so on. Longao just smiled and didn't argue, because he had decided that no matter what kind of Starry Sky Divine Tool they found, the first Starry Sky Divine Tool must belong to Madman Yi. In any case, he already had the Samsara Sword. If he was lucky enough to find the second Starry Sky Divine Tool, then he wouldn't be polite. Brother Yi, what should we do? No matter whether there was a Starry Sky Divine Tool in this space or not, the first thing to do was to open the space passage. Otherwise, everything would be nonsense. Brother Long, according to the sheepskin, there is only one way to open the space. That is, 2 Nirvana Realm martial artists must join forces to attack a point. Chapter 1756. Madman Yi pointed to a point inside the coral. It was very secretive. Without the slightest hesitation, the two used all their strength to jointly attack this point. Sure enough, after being attacked, the point instantly turned into light, and before the two could react, they had been enveloped by the light and disappeared in place. The next second, Longao and Madman Yi had entered a huge forest, blue sky and white clouds, as if they had returned to the Tianwu continent. Brother Yi, you have to be careful. This place is very strange. Since entering the space, Longao had been on full alert. No matter what, there was nothing wrong with being careful. As the saying goes, caution is the parent of safety. Nodding, Madman Yi also felt that this place was very strange and even full of murderous intent. The two did not stay in place, but moved forward slowly step by step. Every step they took, the two were very careful. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Wait, Brother Long, what's wrong? Madman Yi looked curious, not knowing what had happened. Longao's face was very dignified, suddenly turned around, looked at the air in front of him and said, Since you are here, why don't you show yourself? Being so sneaky, I'm afraid you are not a hero. Someone? Of course, Madman Yi would not doubt Longao's perception, but he was extremely shocked. I'm not a hero. Your perception is really not bad. A mere Nirvana Realm martial artist is actually able to sense my presence. Not bad. This tone was very strange. Could the other party be? The two seem to have guessed something. You look at me, I look at you, and see a trace of shock in each other's eyes. If the other party was really a Starry Sky martial artist, then this matter was very troublesome. Madman Yi was depressed to the extreme. He thought that there were only Starry Sky Divine Tools in this space, but he never thought that there would be a Starry Sky martial artist in this space. Looking at the air in front of them slowly converging into a figure, whether it was Longao or Madman Yi, both of them took 3 steps back. A Starry Sky martial artist. It was really a Starry Sky martial artist. In front of the two, the figure formed from the air was a young woman. She had big eyes, a high-nose bridge, thick lips, and a tall figure. She was a typical beauty. The flirtatious young lady covered her mouth and chuckled when she saw the two of them retreating. Mississippi, my name is Fangya. Not Mississippi, Miss Fangya. I've already said that I'm not called Mississippi. I'm called Fangya. Fangya was obviously a little angry, which made the two of them very gloomy. Fangya, we accidentally entered this place. Before Crazy Yi could finish, Fangya said impatiently, All right, greed is greed. Why do you have to exaggerate? If you hadn't seen the map and knew that there was a Starry Sky Divine weapon here, I'm afraid you wouldn't have taken the risk to come here. With his lie exposed, Lunatic Yi smiled awkwardly. The two of them felt a lot more relaxed because they could sense that the Starry Sky martialist in front of them, who was also known as Fangya, had no intention of killing them. If a Starry Sky martialist had the intention to kill them, it would be really troublesome. It seems that you are not afraid of me. Let me tell you something. After you hear it, I'm afraid you will cry. Her personality was too divided. The two of them, who had just relaxed, became nervous again because the two of them really couldn't understand Fangya in front of them. Whether she was a friend or a foe, they still didn't know. Because of this, they were not sure whether Fangya would attack them or not. Let me tell you, when Lin was the one who leaked the map, and every time someone came in, I would kill them. Do you want to know why? They were shocked. The two of them took 3 steps back again. If Fangya really attacked, no matter who it was, they wouldn't be able to resist. Seeing the two of them silent, Fangya said with a strange smile, "The reason is very simple. I don't want Wenlin to go out. If you let Wenlin go." As if she didn't want to continue, Fangya took 3 steps forward and said, "So, I'm sorry. In order to prevent any accidents, you must die." As soon as the word die was said, Longao and Madman Yi screamed in their hearts. They knew very well that Fangya, as a starry sky martialist, was not an existence that they could compete with, even if she was just a first-level starry sky martialist. "Wanna go?" Fangya's mouth slowly curved into a strange sneer. She didn't move, but just broke out the terrible power of the starry sky, which had already shrouded the two of them. Fangya was full of confidence. With her strength as a first-level starry sky martialist, it was easy to kill 2 Nirvana martialists. Under the starry sky, everyone was like an ant. In the eyes of starry sky martialists, even the powerful Nirvana martialists were like ants. If a starry sky martialist wanted to kill a Nirvana martialist, it would be 10,000 times easier than stepping on an ant. Just when Fangya was full of confidence that she could easily kill the two of them, Longao swung his sword and the reincarnation sword chi directly broke the starry sky chi shield covering him. The two of them left at the fastest speed. In the blink of an eye, they had disappeared without a trace. They were completely dumbfounded. What happened just now? 2 insignificant Nirvana martialists, who were like ants, were able to break his starry sky suppression. If he had not experienced it himself, he would not have believed it even if he was beaten to death. "Littleya, what's wrong with you?" At this moment, a person suddenly appeared. It was Lu Chong, a first-level starry sky martialist, who was at the same level as Fangya. Looking at the dumbfounded Fangya, Lu Chong was very curious. He did not know what had happened to Fangya. According to Fangya's character, there seemed to be nothing that could make her like this. Could it be Wenlin? "Littleya, is Wenlin restless again?" Shaking her head, Fangya still hadn't recovered from her shock. She sighed heavily and said helplessly, "Lu Chong, 2 people have just entered this place. If I'm not mistaken, they should have found the map. However, they managed to avoid my starry sky suppression just now." Somewhat surprised, Lu Chong could not wait to ask, what are their strength? Are they at the first-level starry sky realm? In Lu Chong's view, with Fangya's strength, since the other party could break the starry sky suppression released by Fangya, it was very likely that they were first-level starry sky cultivators. If that was the case, things would be a bit troublesome. Could it be that when Lin found help? Fangya seemed to be able to guess the doubts in Lu Chong's heart. She shook her head and said, "If they were first-level starry sky cultivators, it would be fine. But I'm afraid even you won't believe it. Not only are they not first-level starry sky cultivators, they can't even touch the edge of the starry sky realm. They are just in the Nirvana realm. P.S. Little Jew apologizes. I've been really busy these days. I went home at 9 o'clock and wrote 5,000 words. I'm really tired. I'll probably finish it tomorrow night. If there is no accident, Little Jew will have time the day after tomorrow." Chapter 1757. A Nirvana Realm Warrior? A Nirvana Realm Warrior could break through Fangya's starry sky suppression? Lu Chong did not believe it at all. With just a glance, Fangya had already guessed Lu Chong's doubts and disbelief. Not to mention Lu Chong, even she would not believe it if she had not experienced it herself. The other party was just a Nirvana Realm Warrior who had achieved the oneness of Heaven and Min Realm. How could he break through her starry sky suppression? "Littleya, is it true?" Looking at the dignified and puzzled Fangya, Lu Chong told himself that what Fangya said just now seemed to be true. That was why Lu Chong was a little impatient. Since the two of them have already come to this place, it will be very easy for us to track them down. Based on my guess, if I'm not mistaken, the reason why that person was able to break through my aura suppression is because he possesses a divine artifact. A starry sky divine weapon? Yes, a starry sky divine weapon. Not only a starry sky divine weapon, but it seems to be a level 4 starry sky divine weapon. Although he did not want to believe it, the fact was in front of him. Even Lu Chun was shocked when he heard this. Greed was written all over his face. He and Fangya were level 3 Starry Sky cultivators, so they did not have any level 4 or above level 4 Starry Sky divine weapons, especially the other party's Starry Sky divine weapon, which was obviously very powerful. If they could get such a Starry Sky divine weapon, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. Let's go. The two did not continue to hesitate. They followed the aura left by Longao and Madman Yi and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Starry Sky divine artifacts were categorized in the same way as Starry Sky cultivators. From low to high, they were categorized into Grade 1 Starry Sky divine artifacts, Grade 2 Starry Sky divine artifacts, Grade 3 Starry Sky divine artifacts, Grade 4 Starry Sky divine artifacts, Grade 5 Starry Sky divine artifacts, Grade 6 Starry Sky divine artifacts, Grade 7 Starry Sky divine artifacts, Grade 8 Starry Sky divine artifacts, Grade 9 Starry Sky divine artifacts, Domain Lord Starry Sky divine artifacts, and Domain Emperor Starry Sky divine artifacts. If the two of them knew that the Samsara sword in Longao's hand was not only a Starry Sky divine tool, but also a supreme treasure of the Samsara clan, who knew what they would think. Such a supreme treasure, except for the divine mathematician, perhaps no one could resist it. The two's speed was very fast, because provoking a Starry Sky cultivator was not a good thing. If a Starry Sky cultivator caught them, they would be killed without a doubt. Brother Long, is that a Starry Sky divine weapon in your hand? Nodding, Longao didn't hide much from his friends. As for what grade of Starry Sky spirit artifact the Samsara arts was, even he didn't know about it. Madman Yu was shocked. Although he had guessed it, he still couldn't help but be shocked when he heard Longao admit it himself, because he knew better than anyone else what a Starry Sky divine tool meant. He had never thought that Longao would be able to obtain a Starry Sky divine tool. In this case, he believed that it wouldn't be difficult for Longao to kill enemies above his level. As if he could guess Madman Ye's curiosity and doubts, Longao said helplessly, "Although the Samsara sword in my hand is a Starry Sky divine tool, I can't really use the power of the Samsara sword with my current strength. I hope my cultivation can break through the Starry Sky realm as soon as possible. Then, I can really master the Samsara sword." Longao knew that unless his cultivation could reach the Starry Sky realm, the power of the Samsara sword would slowly be exerted. Even so, the Samsara sword could break through the suppression of the Starry Sky, which helped him a lot. Otherwise, if the Samsara sword didn't break the Starry Sky Chi shield released by Fangya this time, he and Madman Yi would have died. Brother Long, I've implicated you this time. Madman Yi sighed deeply. If he had known that there was a Starry Sky cultivator here, he wouldn't have stepped in easily even if he was beaten to death. Longao smiled and said indifferently, "If you still treat me as a friend, then cut the crap. The only thing we have to do now is to find a way to leave here for the rest of our lives." Madman Yu was very moved. They knew very well that they were in a very dangerous situation and had to leave as soon as possible. Otherwise, once they were discovered by a Starry Sky cultivator, the consequences would be unimaginable. Wait, Brother Long, what's wrong? There was a bad premonition in his heart, because lunatic he could clearly sense that the aura on Longao's body was somewhat irritated. Could it be that the two of them had already been discovered? Madman Ye's heart thumped when he thought of this. He would be lying if he said that he wasn't afraid. No matter what, the other party was a Starry Sky cultivator. The gap between their realms was too big. It was like comparing the weight of an ant and an elephant. There was no need to compare at all. Everyone knew which one was heavier. Longao's face was very dignified. He said coldly, "If we stay here, we won't be able to get rid of the other party's lock." Since entering here, Longao discovered a problem. The space here was very strange. Not only could he not use spatial teleportation or enter the Dragon Seal space, but he couldn't even communicate with Long Fu, Xiling, and Bai Ling. This was what Longao was really helpless about. If he could enter the Dragon Seal space, then even if the other party was a Starry Sky cultivator, he wouldn't be afraid. Longao didn't say this, but Madman Yi certainly knew the seriousness of the matter. He asked helplessly, "Brother Long, what should we do now?" He didn't know why, but Madman Yi trusted Longao very much. This was intuition, and also the trust of a friend. What should I do? What should I do now? For a while, even Longao didn't have a good idea. As his cultivation broke through to the Nirvana realm, Longao found that his perception had greatly increased. Especially now, the sense of crisis was getting stronger and stronger. Moreover, his aura told him that the two of them had been locked on by the other party. He believed that the other party would arrive in a few minutes. This was really a troublesome matter. Brother Yi, I have an idea, but I don't know if you will agree. Please say. Madman Yi was delighted. As long as they could leave here, no matter what method it was, Madman Yi would definitely be willing. He couldn't wait because the Starry Sky cultivators would arrive at any time. The more they delayed, the more danger they would be in. Brother Yi, I have a broken divine tool that can forcibly open a space-time tunnel, but I can't guarantee that we won't be killed by the space-time crack. However, in this case, we can only take a gamble. If we win, we can leave here safely. If we lose, you and I will die in the space-time crack. Why don't you take a gamble with me? No problem. Since they were going to die anyway, they might as well give it a try. Madman Yi was very clear that if they stayed, they would definitely die. In this case, they might as well choose to take a gamble. At least they would have a chance to leave here. Well, Brother Yi, in this case, you can release all your strength later. Without waiting for Madman Yi to speak, Longao had already taken out the space-time wheel from his arms. If it was any other place, Longao was confident that he could send the two of them away. As for whether they would be killed by the space-time crack, it would depend on luck, because no one knew when their luck would be good and when it would be bad. However, in this case, if he forcefully used the space-time wheel, there would only be one result. Before the space-time wheel could send them away, they would be killed by the space-time crack. There was no chance of survival. For the sake of his friend, Longao was prepared to use the space-time wheel and his own strength to send Madman Yi away first. As for the certainty of success, it was already enough. Longao didn't tell Madman Yi about this matter because he knew that if Madman Yi knew about it, he would definitely not agree. In this case, he could only choose to hide it and send Madman Yi away first. A space-time divine tool was also an upgraded version of a spatial divine tool. Its power was even greater than a spatial divine tool. Madman Yi was very surprised when he saw the wheel in Longao's hand because he had never imagined that Longao would not only have a starry sky divine tool, but also a space-time divine tool. How exactly did Longao obtain it? Brother Yi, go all out. Madman Yi nodded. He also knew the seriousness of the matter. In this case, they would be in more danger if they delayed for a minute. Madman Yi didn't dare to hesitate. He immediately channeled all the strength in his body and attacked with all his strength. Ever since Longao obtained the space-time wheel, he had been using all the strength in his body to nurture it. But even so, the space-time wheel had only recovered a little. It was basically impossible for it to reach its peak power. According to Longao's speculation, the space-time wheel he obtained was incredibly powerful. If the space-time wheel was at its peak, it could enter a space-time tunnel and enter any place at will. This was the power of the space-time wheel. However, to control the space-time wheel at its peak, only God knew how much strength was needed. The weakest one should be in the starry sky realm. Longao had already guessed that the space-time wheel was not only a divine tool, but also a starry sky divine tool. The more it was so, the more he looked forward to the space-time wheel at its peak. However, all this was based on his strength. Without strength, everything else was bullshit. Madman Yi's strength had already entered the space-time wheel. In this way, Longao had full confidence that he could send Madman Yi away. Friend, take care. This is all I can help you with. Longao didn't continue to hesitate because the danger he sensed was getting stronger and stronger. He had to send Madman Yi away as soon as possible. Otherwise, he wouldn't have another chance. All his strength entered the space-time wheel. Gradually, the flow of the surrounding space changed. But at this time, Madman Yi suddenly found that things were a little different. He immediately shouted in surprise, "Brother Long, what are you doing?" Longao didn't say anything. He just smiled. The next moment, before Madman Yi could continue, his figure was shrouded by space and disappeared without a trace. P.S. I only got home at 9:30. Wait for another chapter. Have a good rest tonight. You won't be busy tomorrow. Thank you for your understanding these days. Little Jew is very grateful. Chapter 1758. Only one could go. This was the current situation of the space-time wheel. In front of his friends, Longao was still his friend, not himself. Longao knew very well that with his strength, he could only use the space-time wheel once. In other words, if he sent Madman Yi away, he would not be able to use the space-time wheel a second time. It was almost impossible to leave here. On a deserted island in the outer sea, space-time flashed and Madman Yi's figure appeared on the island. It was very sad. Madman Yi suddenly kept slapping himself. Longao could do this for his friends, but what about him? Brother Long, I will treat you as my brother for the rest of my life. Friends were upgraded to brothers, brothers of life and death, brothers of life and death, pain and sadness. But it had already happened. Even if he was a Nirvana realm warrior, there was nothing he could do. In the nameless forbidden space. You can actually break the space tunnel here, huh? There was a sound of surprise. The next second, Lu Chong and Feng Ye's figures had arrived. Their faces were full of shock and disbelief. They knew the situation of this space very well. Not to mention a little Nirvana realm warrior, even when Lin, a peak level 3 starry sky cultivator, could not break the space and leave. There was no surprise. There was no fear. After sending Madman Yi away, Longao had already guessed that this would be the result. Xiaoya, looks like our guess is right. This person has a lot of secrets on him. To be able to forcefully break open the space here, I think this divine weapon might be the legendary space-time wheel. Space-time wheel. Feng Ye's face was instantly filled with surprise and deep greed because she knew very well what the space-time wheel meant. What's your name? Longao. Longao was very wary of the two. Although he could break through the suppression of the Starry Sky chi cover of the Starry Sky martial artist, it was almost impossible to contend against the Starry Sky martial artist. Longao, as long as you can promise me two things, I can spare your life. Let's hear it. Longao did not immediately agree because he did not know what Feng Ye wanted him to promise. If she wanted him to commit suicide, would he agree? It's simple. Feng Ye looked at the sword in Longao's hand and the space-time wheel. She said, "First, you must hand over your godly sword and space-time wheel." Without waiting for Longao to speak, Feng Ye continued, "The second thing is that you have to swear a blood oath that no matter what happens later, you will not help when Lin leave this place. What do you think?" Lu Chong didn't say anything. Lu Chong had always liked Feng Ye. If not for Feng Ye's constant opposition, the two of them would have been together a long time ago. If the other party could do these two things and keep this person alive, it wouldn't be much of a hindrance to them. There were two things. The second thing was that Longao might be able to agree to, because he didn't know who this one Lin was. Why did he let this person go? Did it have anything to do with him whether or not this person left? It didn't matter. As for the first thing, Longao would definitely not agree. The reason was very simple. No matter if it was the Samsara sword or the space-time wheel, they were both very important to him, especially the Samsara sword. According to the information he had received, the Samsara sword was of utmost importance if he wanted to find out about his origins and find the Samsara clan in the future. Miss Feng Ye. Hearing the words Miss Feng Ye didn't react like before. It seemed that the two Starry Sky divine weapons in Long Ao's hands had intimidated her. Miss Feng Ye, the second thing is fine. As for the first thing, I can't agree to it. He wasn't surprised at all. The two of them had already guessed that the other party would not agree at all. Who would be willing to hand over such a super divine weapon casually? Not to mention the other party, even the two of them certainly couldn't do it. They didn't get angry at all. Because in their opinion, it was already very good that the other party could only use the space-time wheel once. It was impossible for him to use it a second time. Otherwise, why didn't he use the space-time wheel to leave immediately? Long Ao, do you know what the divine weapon in your hands is? A Starry Sky divine weapon. It turned out that he knew. Since you already know, I won't beat around the bush. The Starry Sky divine artifact is useless in your hands. Only in our hands can it unleash a greater power. Do you believe that?
Yes.
Regarding this point, Longao definitely believed it 100%. The Starry Sky divine weapon must be in the hands of a Starry Sky martial artist to exert its power. But did it have anything to do with him? It was a robbery. Even if he couldn't exert the power of the Starry Sky divine weapon, did he have to hand it over? It was very shameless. The two of them didn't say it out loud, but the expression on their faces had already told them everything. It was still the same expression. The two of them didn't get angry at all, nor did they feel embarrassed at all. It was as if they were doing the most ordinary thing. Longao, hand over the two Starry Sky divine weapons. We can promise you that within 3 years, we can make you a Starry Sky martial artist, but you have to submit to the two of us. In their opinion, a little Nirvana realm martial artist, even if he had 2 Starry Sky divine weapons, could not compare with breaking through to the Nirvana realm. Therefore, in their opinion, the other party couldn't refuse their request at all. Longao indeed didn't say anything. Seeing this situation, the two of them suddenly looked happy. The reason was very simple. Even if the two of them were far stronger than the other party, they didn't dare to act rashly, because they didn't know whether Longao could destroy the 2 Starry Sky divine weapons. They were determined to get such super divine weapons. If they could get it smoothly, they absolutely didn't want any accidents to happen. Time went by little by little. Longao bowed his head and didn't speak. The two of them didn't speak either. Both of them kept silent. Longao knew very well that if he refused, the two of them would definitely attack him without hesitation. If soft methods didn't work, they would use hard methods. With his strength, it was impossible for him to resist the attack of 2 Starry Sky cultivators. In the end, he would definitely die. What should he do? He couldn't really hand over the Samsara sword and the space-time wheel. Just when the two of them were a little impatient, Longao suddenly raised his head and asked, "If I hand over the 2 Starry Sky divine weapons, can I really not die? And can you help me break through to the Starry Sky realm within 3 years?" "There's no problem at all. Lu Chong and I are both 3rd-level Starry Sky cultivators. It's a piece of cake for us to help you break through to the Starry Sky cultivator, especially here." An empty promise. As for whether the two of them could do it, no one except the two of them would know. P.S. Xiaojio, go to sleep first. Have a good night's rest. You won't be busy tomorrow. You can write well. Chapter 1759. It was a huge temptation. In their view, the other party could not refuse their offer at all. Unless the other party was out of his mind or did not fear death. Would Longao agree? Just when they were full of confidence and thought the other party would agree. Whoosh! Samsara backhanded a sword, and a Samsara sword chi came out. Longao seized the opportunity and turned to leave quickly. This time, Longao used all his strength and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. They were a little dumbfounded. The two never thought that Longao would suddenly take the initiative to attack them. In anger, they seemed to be very afraid of the reincarnation sword and hurriedly dodged. The reincarnation sword chi could not hurt them at all. It turned out to be a paper tiger. The two were furious to the extreme. It turned out that Longao could not use this Starry Sky divine weapon at all. Kill. Fangya was also enraged. In her opinion, a puny Nirvana realm martial artist dared to provoke her again and again. It was simply unbearable. Even if she could endure it, she couldn't endure it. Even if she could endure it, she couldn't endure it. Lu Chong did not say a second word, and the two chased directly. The two sides, one in front and one behind, were very fast. If he could use space teleportation, even if it was a 3rd-level Starry Sky cultivator, Longao was a little confident that he could leave smoothly. But now, Longao was very clear about the gap between him and a Starry Sky cultivator. It was not only the gap in strength, but also the gap in speed. According to this situation, he would be caught up in less than 3 minutes. What should he do? What should he do? Longao was very helpless. He thought about it, and still could not come up with a good idea. Longao, you have no way to escape. At this time, the terrifying Starry Sky Force pressed down fiercely. The power of the double Starry Sky Force, even if Longao used the reincarnation sword, could not break it at once. Fangya, Lu Chong, You are third-level Starry Sky cultivators, but you joined hands to deal with a Nirvana realm martial artist. It's a bit disgusting. Just when Longao kept using the reincarnation sword chi to break the suppression of the starry sky, a crazy laughter came. The three arrived at the same time. On the left was Fangya and Lu Chong, while on the right was a tall and sturdy man. His face was full of wrinkles, which did not match his age. It was very strange. Wenlin, could it be that you want to interfere? Wenlin was also a grade 3 starry sky cultivator, but his strength was above the two of them. In other words, the two of them could only fight Wenlin to a draw if they joined forces. If it was a one-on-one fight, neither Lu Chong nor Fangya would be Wenlin's opponent. The two of them kept Wenlin trapped. Haha, it's just two starry sky divine tools, but you've already revealed your true colors. You always put on a sanctimonious look, so I thought you guys were upright. But now, you guys are really shameless, so shameless that it's disgusting. His expression was extremely gloomy, as ugly as it could get. As for Longao, similarly, he did not know whether the starry sky martial artist who had suddenly appeared was a friend or foe. However, based on the current situation, it seemed that even if the burly middle-aged man who had just appeared was not their friend, he was definitely their opponent. As the saying goes, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Young man, what's your name? Longao, how should I address Senior? Wenlin, they are the enemy of the two of them. I can help you deal with them. Wenlin, you've gone too far. Retreating continuously, Longao was already standing beside Wenlin. Whether Wenlin was sincere or not, he had to get through this first. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to resist the joint attack of the two of them. There was only one result, and that was death. Going too far? You've trapped me for so many years. Aren't you going too far? Wenlin seemed to hate the two of them. He turned around and left with Longao, but would the two of them agree? Courting death. Fangya had a fiery temper. How could she bear it? Fangya and Lu Chong directly rushed up, one on the left and one on the right, attacking Wenlin continuously. As for Longao, he walked far away because he could not intervene in such a high-level battle. Longao did not want anyone to win. There was only one best result, and that was both sides suffering. Again, Longao was not sure whether Wenlin was an enemy or a friend. If Wenlin really won, he would be a wolf in sheep's clothing. What should he do? It was the same as walking out of the wolf's den into the tigers. The battle between the three level 3 starry sky cultivators continued to escalate. For thousands of years, the three of them had fought countless battles, big and small, and had always been tied. Otherwise, both sides would not have survived, and one of them would have fallen. Leave? Or continue to watch the battle? For a while, Longao had no choice because he already knew that the battle between the two sides would end in a draw. No matter what the result was, he would be unlucky. If he chose to leave at this time, he would definitely offend Wenlin. In this case, the three starry sky cultivators would deal with him. Such a result was not acceptable to him. After thinking about it, Longao finally chose to stay and watch the battle. However, he did not sit still and wait for death. Instead, with the help of the Samsara sword in his hand, he directly slashed at the two of them. Longao, if you dare to make a move, I will tear you to pieces. Seeing Longao constantly attacking the two of them, whether it was Lu Chong or Fangya, both of them instantly became angry. As starry sky cultivators, they could not stand the provocation of a puny Nirvana realm cultivator. Even when the two of them joined forces, they still could not suppress him. One could only imagine how powerful Wenlin was. The three of them were all level 3 starry sky cultivators. Whether it was Wenlin or Fangya, as long as one of them broke through to the level 4 starry sky cultivator, the other party would definitely die. However, for so many years, none of the three of them had broken through to the level 4 starry sky cultivator. The biggest reason was that this forbidden area made it impossible for them to break through. The three of them knew very well that not to mention 10,000 years, even if it was 1,000,000 years, or even 10 million years, as long as the three of them were still in this forbidden area, no matter who it was, they would never be able to break through to the level 4 starry sky cultivator. Because of this, Wenlin felt very depressed. He did not know whether the two of them had lost their minds or not. For the sake of the grudges of the past, they would rather stay here and trap themselves here. After so many years, the two of them had not broken through. If they had left this damned place 10,000 years ago, they would have at least become level 5 starry sky cultivators by now. But now, when Lin was very angry, he could not wait to kill the two of them. In that case, he could leave this place. But could he do it? After countless battles, he could not kill the two of them. Chapter 1760. The battle continued to escalate. In the end, both sides retreated without a fight. Because even if they continued to fight, they would gain nothing. When Lin, the grudge between you and me will be resolved sooner or later. But no matter what happens today, you have to hand over this person. Fangya was not a fool. How could she give up so easily? If when Lin took Longao away, could the two of them still get the 2 starry sky god artifacts? Definitely not. Fangya was determined to get the 2 starry sky god artifacts. When Lin sneered, "Fangya, Lu Chong, come at me if you have the ability. As for Longao, if he wants to stay, I will not stop him. But if he leaves, don't even think about keeping him." When Lin's meaning was clear, looking at the two people in front of them, whether it was Fangya or Lu Chong, their faces turned gloomy. They would not stop until one of them died. The two sides had long been enemies. It would be strange if when Lin did not intervene. When Lin, if you're willing to hand over Longao, we are willing to stop. How about it? Lilia, waving her hand, Fangya did not speak, but the expression on her face told Lu Chong that she had made up her mind. For the 2 starry sky god artifacts, she was willing to temporarily put aside the grudge between her and Wen Lin. Fangya knew very well that if she could get the 2 starry sky god artifacts, even if Wen Lin could leave the forbidden space, she was confident that she could deal with him in the future. If that was the case, why not get the 2 starry sky god artifacts first? How could Wen Lin not know what Fangya was thinking? If he agreed, he would really be a fool. Sneering, Wen Lin said with disdain, "Fangya, you'd better save it. Longao, let's go." Wen Lin and Longao turned around and left. Just like that, Fangya and Lu Chong could only stare blankly as the two figures gradually left. "Lilia, are we just going to let them go like this?" Once Longao leaves with Wen Lin, "I'm afraid that if we want to get the 2 starry sky god artifacts back, I'm afraid." Lu Chong did not continue, but the meaning in his words was clear. Wen Lin was also a starry sky martial artist. Of course, he was very greedy for starry sky spirit artifacts. It would be a lie to say that Wen Lin did not want to obtain a starry sky spirit artifact. "Come with me." Lu Chong didn't know what Fangya wanted, but after so many years, he had always followed her orders. Longao quickly followed Wen Lin. Although he had temporarily avoided Fangya and Lu Chong's pursuit, he was still extremely vigilant. Again, he didn't know if Wen Lin was a friend or foe. A row of houses. "Longao, do you want to know how you came in?" Without hiding anything, Longao roughly explained the matter of the map to Xiao Chun. "I was the one who released the map. After so many years, I don't know how many people came in but couldn't get out. Do you know why? Because of Lu Chong and Fangya." Longao had already guessed it. As for Wen Lin's intention, it was also very simple. He wanted to borrow external forces to leave this forbidden space. "That's right." Sighing deeply, Wen Lin said helplessly, "Back then, both of us entered this middle-ranked plane at the same time. That was how we became enemies." Longao was also very interested in the enmity between the three. "Forget it, let's not talk about this. Longao, you don't have to worry. I have no interest in the 2 starry sky divine tools in your hands." No interest? Longao didn't want to believe it. At least, he didn't believe it now. As the saying goes, you may know a person for a long time without understanding his heart. Who knew what Wen Lin was thinking? "Thank you, Senior, for saving me just now." Wen Lin smiled. "Brother Long, if you don't mind, you can call me Big Brother One in the future." Big Brother One. Before figuring out whether the other party was a friend or foe, Longao certainly didn't want to fall out with him. After all, 2 people were difficult enough to deal with, not to mention a starry sky martial artist. "Brother Long, You and I feel like old friends at first sight. I will also get straight to the point. I have been sealed here for tens of thousands of years and can't wait to leave. I hope you can help me. It was very difficult. Once a third-grade starry sky martial artist left this forbidden space, he would be a supreme existence in the Tianwu continent. With Wenlin's strength, he believed that except for the divine mathematician, Tian Dao, and the old ancestor, no one could be his opponent. Once Wenlin became his friend, the consequences would be unimaginable. If he didn't agree, Wenlin would probably fall out with him now. No problem, big brother one. As long as there is a chance, I will definitely help you leave here. Good, good, good. Both of them had their own ulterior motives. You don't believe me, I don't believe you. One wrong step, and all the steps would be wrong. Brother Long, for the time being, you should not leave here. With your help, there should be no problem this time. As for Fangya and Lu Chong, they will definitely not give up. They will definitely find a way to deal with you. As long as you don't leave here, they can't do anything to you. Big brother one, I know. I want to ask, is there anyone else in this forbidden space besides you and them? No. When we accidentally entered this place, the two of them forcibly sealed us. After so many years, if it hadn't been for them pestering me, I wouldn't have been sealed for so long. What is it like outside? Longao roughly explained the current situation of the Tianwu continent. After hearing it, Wenlin sighed. He had never imagined that in a short 10,000 years, over 10,000 of the starry sky's martial artists had died. It seemed that only the three of them were left. It was a bit unimaginable. All right, you cultivate first. I'll think about it. Wenlin got up and left. As for Longao, he was preparing to stay here and cultivate. If he could leave, that would be for the best. As for the future, he would deal with it later. Since entering this place, he had been hunted down and had not been able to properly sense it. Now that he had sensed it, Longao was shocked to find that the spiritual qi of heaven and earth here was very abundant. It was 100 times stronger than outside. Not only that, there was something that shocked Longao. In this forbidden space, there was still the origin energy. Perhaps other Nirvana realm martial artists could not sense it, but he could clearly sense it. Because under normal circumstances, even in other mid-grade or even high-grade planes, only when one's cultivation had broken through to the Nirvana rebirth realm could one officially sense the origin energy and reproduce the origin energy that belonged to oneself. As for devouring the origin energy, as long as one's cultivation had broken through to the Nirvana rebirth realm, one could successfully devour the origin energy. Longao's situation was very special. Although his cultivation had not broken through to the Nirvana rebirth realm, he could still sense the origin energy here. Chapter 1761. He felt helpless. He was also unwilling. Longao knew very well that if he could break through the Nirvana rebirth realm with his current cultivation, he could take advantage of this opportunity to use the origin power here to reproduce his own origin power. It was too late to say anything now. The gap between the unity of heaven and man realm and the Nirvana rebirth realm was too great. Longao had already calculated that with his situation, if he wanted to break through from the unity of heaven and man realm to the Nirvana rebirth realm, he would need at least a year or even 2 years. Did he have to wait until his cultivation broke through the Nirvana realm to leave here? It was also a good idea. If there were no worries, Longao would certainly be willing to do so, because he knew very well that there would never be a second chance like this. They're here. Looking at the two people who suddenly appeared in front of him, Longao was a little surprised because he never expected that Fangya and Lu Chong would still dare to stay here. Wenlin had just left. God knew where he was. Longao, do you think that we won't dare to hurt you because you have Wenlin as your backer? Before Longao could speak, Fangya continued, I'll give you another chance. As long as you hand over the 2 Starry Sky divine weapons, I'll let you go and help you break through the Starry Sky realm. How about it? Shameless. Do I still need your help in 3 years? Longao was full of confidence that if he kept cultivating here, he could break through the Starry Sky realm in less than 3 years. Fangya, I won't agree. Longao kept retreating. He was very afraid of the two people. Not to mention fighting 1 against 2, He could not even win in a one-on-one situation. This was the absolute gap between their realms. The absolute gap. Ha ha ha, Longao, are you afraid? Lu Chong seemed to be very satisfied with Longao's fear. The next second, Lu Chong had already rushed out, and the terrifying starry sky force pressed down. As for Fangya, she stood quietly where she was. Lu Chong alone was enough to deal with Longao. Not daring to be careless, Longao quickly slashed out 3 times with the Samsara sword in his hand. 3 strands of sword chi shot out in succession, breaking through the suppression of the starry sky. Having learned his lesson, Lu Chong wasn't surprised at all. Both Lu Chong and Fangya already knew the truth. If it were just Longao alone, it would have been impossible for him to break through the suppression of the starry sky's power. However, Longao could do so only because of the starry sky's spirit artifact in his hand. In the next second, Lu Chong had already closed in on him, and the two of them engaged in close combat. Before Longao could react, he had already received 10 consecutive punches from Lu Chong. A total of 10 punches. The absolute difference in cultivation level caused Longao's speed to be much slower. If it was any other Nirvana realm martial artist, they would have already suffered an entire 20 punches, an entire double the difference. He actually didn't fall. Lu Chong was shocked to the extreme when he saw Longao take the hit. He was very confident in the power of his fist. 10 consecutive punches. Was the other party really a Nirvana realm martial artist? Even if he was a grade 2 Starry Skies cultivator, it would be impossible for him to withstand his punches, let alone 10 punches. The other party's physical defense was really terrifying. Not to mention Lu Chong, even Fangya, who was standing on the side, was also shocked to the extreme. Because Fangya didn't know how a puny Nirvana realm martial artist like Longao could have such a terrifying physical defense. Could it be that Longao had a Starry Skies spirit artifact in his body? Thinking of this, Fangya's face was full of surprise. Lu Chong, kill this person. Remember, don't damage his body. Understood. Lu Chong had already guessed that the other party could withstand his 10 punches because he had a Starry Skies spirit artifact. There were many types of Starry Skies spirit artifacts, including offensive spirit artifacts, speed spirit artifacts, defensive spirit artifacts, and so on. With so many types of spirit artifacts, only the Starry Skies spirit artifacts were rare. Whether it was Fangya or Lu Chong, both of them wanted a defensive spirit artifact very much. Because of this, the two of them never thought that the other party would have won. A puny Nirvana realm martial artist actually had 3 Starry Skies spirit artifacts. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, it would have been hard to believe. Lu Chong's attacks were getting faster and faster because both of them wanted to end the battle quickly. Once when Lin rushed back and entangled them, it would be difficult for them to continue to kill Longao. Starry Skies spirit artifact. If the two of them knew that Longao didn't have a Starry Skies spirit artifact, who knew what they would think? The biggest reason why Longao's physical defense was so strong was that the black tortoise armor had integrated his bloodline and body. Otherwise, the black tortoise armor alone would not be able to withstand Lu Chong's attacks. Even so, if this continued, he would still be in big trouble. He had to think of a way as soon as possible. In just a few seconds, Longao was hit by dozens of punches. Even if his defense was strong, it couldn't withstand such attacks from a Starry Skies martial artist. His face was a little pale, and his body began to bleed. He absolutely couldn't continue like this. Longao had only practiced the first and second forms of the 36 forms of reincarnation. 2 consecutive sword strikes. The first sword was reincarnation 9 kills. The second sword was reincarnation dance. Chapter 1762. Fangya and Lu Chong's strength was too strong. Longao was simply unable to resist. Left and right punches. In just a few seconds, Longao was hit by no less than a dozen punches. Longao was sent flying by a punch, his body like a kite with a broken string, falling hard to the ground. This time, the two did not talk nonsense because they had to kill Longao before when Lin came back. Otherwise, it would be too late. He struggled to get up from the ground. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Without waiting for Longao to come back to his senses, the two figures came once again. The Samsara sword had disappeared because Longao knew very well that with his strength alone, even if he used the Samsara sword, he could not cause the slightest harm to the two. Another Starry Sky martial skill, Annihilation Palm. Both palms moved at the same time, leaving palm shadows everywhere. Starry Sky martial skill. The two of them discovered that Longao used another powerful martial technique and were pleasantly surprised to the extreme. In the two's view, the current Longao was like a huge treasure. As long as they could get it, they could dig out endless treasures. Until now, the other party already had 3 Starry Sky divine weapons and 2 Starry Sky martial skills. No one knew if the other party had other Starry Sky divine weapons and Starry Sky martial skills. Whether it was Starry Sky divine weapons or Starry Sky martial skills, the two of them certainly had them. However, compared to Longao's Starry Sky divine weapons and Starry Sky martial skills, they were not worth mentioning. Greed. It was because of greed that the two were determined to get Longao's Starry Sky divine weapons and Starry Sky martial skills. As long as Wen Lan did not return, the two were confident that they could successfully kill Longao. In the distance, Wen Lin, who was hiding in the dark, had been watching the battle. Several times, he wanted to take action, but in the end, he restrained himself. Longao, I want to see how many secrets you have. Wen Lin's insidiousness was no less than the two. In any case, he needed Longao's help to leave here, so he could not take action for the time being. Not taking action did not mean that he was not greedy. Wen Lin was the same as the two of them. He was also determined to obtain the Starry Sky Divine Artifact and Starry Sky Martial skill that Longao possessed. It was precisely because of this that Wen Lin didn't intend to make a move. Because as far as he was concerned, Longao still hadn't used all his trump cards. It wouldn't be too late for him to make a move at the last moment. The Annihilation Palm, endless palm shadows, like a tornado, engulfed the two in an instant. Fangya snorted coldly. The two of them joined forces and directly broke apart Longao's Annihilation Palm. He spat out another mouthful of blood. Longao sat down on the ground. With the absolute difference in cultivation level, even if he had a Starry Sky martial skill and a Starry Sky spirit artifact, he was not a match for these two. Could it be that it was all over? F***CK. Wen Lin, why aren't you attacking yet? Longao cursed in his heart, as he could clearly sense the aura of a starry sky not far away. Without a doubt, the person hiding in the dark was definitely Wen Lin. Maybe others couldn't sense it, but it didn't mean that Longao couldn't. Even Wen Lin probably didn't expect that Longao could sense his aura. Otherwise, Wen Lin would definitely not act like this. Therefore, Longao could almost say that Wen Lin and Fangya were the same. They were not good people. Longao didn't have the slightest complaint, because he knew very well what it meant to have a Starry Sky Divine Artifact and Starry Sky Martial skill. Not to mention the three of them, he believed that no matter who it was, after seeing such a powerful Starry Sky Martial skill and Starry Sky Divine Artifact, they would not be able to resist such temptation. He wasn't a match for the two of them at all. Even if he continued to fight, he would definitely die. Longao was ready to take a gamble to see if Wen Lin would make a move. Because according to the three of them, if Wen Lin wanted to leave this forbidden space, he would have to rely on the help of outsiders. Fangya and Lu Chong would not help him, so he was the only one left. If he won the bet, he would be able to escape this time. If he lost the bet, he would be doomed. Longao didn't move. They were not surprised in the slightest because from their point of view, it was already not bad for Longao to be able to persist for so long under their joint efforts. It seemed that Longao was already a piece of meat on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered by them. Kill. Fangya and Lu Chong couldn't wait any longer. Once they thought that they would be able to get the treasure later, they immediately rushed forward. Right at this moment, Wen Lin's figure suddenly appeared and took a palm strike from the two of them. He kept retreating. Fangya and Lu Chong looked at Wen Lin, who suddenly appeared, and their faces instantly turned cold. Wen Lin, you're courting death. Fangya's voice was extremely cold, because killing Longao was right in front of them. They only needed to hold on for a few seconds, and they would get everything they wanted. However, because of Wen Lin in front of them, they couldn't get what they wanted. Fighting 2 against 1, the two of them didn't have full confidence that they could defeat Wenlin. Smiling, Wenlin said with an unconcerned expression, "The two of you are really shameless to the extreme. No matter if it's good or bad, it's all Brother Long's and not yours. You want to snatch it by force?" He didn't continue speaking, but the disdain and ridicule on Wenlin's face became more and more intense. Hearing Wenlin's words, not only Fangya and Lu Chong snorted, even Long Ao cursed in his heart. They had seen two-faced people, but they had never seen such a two-faced person. Wenlin was 1,000,000 times, 1,000 times, or even 10,000 times more shameless than the two of them. Fangya sneered and said, "Wenlin, Long Ao might not know what you're thinking. Are you trying to lie to us?" Without giving Wenlin any chance to speak, Fangya continued to ridicule him. "Wenlin, I can say with certainty that as long as Long Ao helps you leave here, you will definitely get his things by hook or by crook. Therefore, you are countless times more shameless than us." Wenlin cursed in his heart, but his face remained calm, because what Fangya said was exactly what he was thinking. As long as Long Ao helped him leave, he would definitely snatch Long Ao's treasures. There was no doubt about this. It would be a lie to say that he didn't want such a powerful Starry Sky divine tool and Starry Sky martial skill. Even Wenlin himself didn't believe it. "Brother Long, do you believe what they said?" Wenlin didn't talk nonsense with Fangya. He just turned around and asked Long Ao. Long Ao certainly believed it, but in this case, he knew very well that as long as he said that he believed it, not only Fangya and Lu Chong, but also Wenlin wouldn't let him go. Due to the situation, Long Ao could only say helplessly, "Big Brother One, I certainly won't believe what they said. They are just two shameless things. Long Ao, hand over the things and we can help you break through to the Starry Sky realm. If you help him, you will definitely die in the future." Chapter 1763. How could Long Ao not know what Fangya said? "Fangya, you just want everything I have. Let me give you a piece of advice. It's best if you give up." No matter what Wenlin meant, Long Ao had decided to bet on Wenlin. The reason was simple. At least Wenlin would not attack him in the forbidden area. That was enough. As for what would happen after leaving the forbidden area, he would take it one step at a time. Since she had already said that, Fangya definitely wouldn't say anything more. In the current situation, they could only fight. "Brother Long, the Starry Sky divine weapon in your hand is very powerful, but with your strength, you can't break this space. It should be no problem if you and I work together." He directly ignored Fangya and Lu Chong. Wenlin left slowly with Long Ao. From the beginning to the end, Fangya did not continue to attack. Both Fangya and Lu Chong knew very well that as long as Wenlin was alive, they would not be able to kill Long Ao. Both of them had ugly expressions on their faces. At the passage, it was the passage that Long Ao and Madman Yi came in. According to Wenlin, this was the only way to break it. Since things had come to this point, could Long Ao refuse? Obviously not. Next, Long Ao held the Samsara sword in his hand. In the next second, the power in Wenlin's body surged into Long Ao's body like waves in the sea. With a roar, Long Ao slashed the Samsara sword in his hand at a point in front of him. If it was just Long Ao alone, it would be impossible to break the space passage. But with the help of Wenlin, a level 3 Starry Sky cultivator, it was completely different. There was a loud boom. The whole space began to tremble violently. With a surprised look, Wenlin immediately left with Long Ao. In the blink of an eye, they had left the forbidden area. "Little Ya, it seems that Wenlin has to leave here. In these 10,000 years, we have also wasted too much time. The decision we made back then was wrong. Taking advantage of this time to leave, other than killing Long Ao, it will also be of great benefit to our future cultivation." He was very unwilling to accept this. However, since things had already come to this, Lu Chong could only choose to compromise. The two of them did not continue to stay either, because when Lin chose to forcefully break through, this forbidden space would be completely destroyed very soon. If he didn't choose to leave, only death awaited him. Outer Sea. "Big Brother One, you've already smoothly left the forbidden space. Are you going to make a move against me? Having made things clear, Longao did not want to dilly-dally. When Lin was a starry sky martial artist, once they chose to deal with him, the consequences would be very troublesome. If he was alone, Longao wouldn't be worried at all. But if one Lin were to deal with his family, what would he do? Brother Long, the reason why I didn't make a move earlier was because I wanted to see your background. Without speaking, Longao could sense that when Lin did not have any killing intent towards him. If they were in the forbidden space, he would naturally be worried. But since they had already come out, when Lin had no reason to continue hiding. Brother, forgive me for being blunt, but the secret on your body is not simple. Originally, I wanted to take a look, but at this point, I don't want to investigate any further. I only have one request, and I hope you can agree to it. Tell me. Longao did not immediately agree. If Wen Lin's request was too much, would he have to agree to it? It's very simple. If you and I leave, I believe Fangya and Lu Chong will leave with us. A battle will be inevitable in the future. As for you, I believe the two of them will not let you go. Whether it's for me or for you, we should join forces. What do you think? Join forces? Longao was almost certain that Wen Lin did not have any killing intent towards him. This point alone was enough. Big Brother 1, am I qualified to join forces with you? Whether it was Fangya, Lu Chong, or Wen Lin, they were all true starry sky martial artists. With his strength, he could not intervene in the battle between the three of them. Brother Long, I don't need to say more about your situation. I believe you know it better than I do. Okay, I agree. When Lin and Longao reached a temporary agreement and left the forbidden space, Longao did not stay for long. After all, there were still many things waiting for him in the Dragon Valley. Not long after Longao left, Fangya and Lu Chong also rushed out. When they saw Wen Lin but did not see Longao, the two of them had already guessed something. Wen Lin, you have already left the forbidden space. Shouldn't you hand over Longao? From now on, the grudge between you and me will be written off. What do you think? Wen Lin had already left. Fangya knew very well that as long as Wen Lin was willing, once he left the intermediate plane and entered the vast starry sky, it would be impossible for the two of them to find him. In that case, they would deal with Longao first. As for the grudge between them and Wen Lin, there would be plenty of opportunities in the future. Fangya, Lu Chong, you have sealed me for 10,000 years. Are you going to let it go just like that? What do you want? Fangya waved her hand and stopped Lu Chong. She sneered and said, Wen Lin, if we fight alone, maybe we can't compete with you. But if we join forces, you can't do anything to us. If we continue to fight like this, I'm afraid both of us will be injured. Since everyone has left the forbidden space, why don't we kill Longao and divide the treasures equally? As for the grudges between us, you can end it if you want. If you can't swallow this, we'll wait for you. What do you think? Fangya had already chosen to compromise. If it were not for Longao, she would not have done this. In the end, it was because the treasures on Longao were too tempting. Let me give you a piece of advice. You better give up. You have already said that if we were to fight one-on-one, neither of you would be a match for me. In this case, can I take you down one by one? I might not be able to do it in the forbidden space, but since I have already left, can you two guess if I can do it? Fury. Fangya and Lu Chong were very clear that Wen Lin wasn't trying to trick them. If Wen Lin insisted on doing this, they would be in huge trouble. It was better to be safe than sorry. If one of them died, then the remaining one would definitely not be a match for him. However, Fangya refused to lower her head. Back then, she had sealed Wen Lin. She was confident that she could do the same now. Just as Fangya was about to speak, a terrifying power enveloped the three of them. Sensing that power, Fangya, Lu Chong, and Wen Lin all let out startled cries. The Starry Sky Domain Emperor. The three of them knew what the Starry Sky Domain Emperor represented. They couldn't understand how the current Martial Heaven continent still had such a supreme expert. In front of the Starry Sky Domain Emperor, the three of them were like ants. Longao had decided that after settling the matters of the Tianwu continent, Even if his cultivation base had broken through to the starry sky realm, he would spend some time with his family and loved ones. Longao didn't cultivate and fell asleep with Aoshue in his arms. After all, Master God Diviner had already informed him that when Lin and Fangya weren't going to do anything to him, which was a huge relief. In his dream, the vast starry sky was boundless, and countless planes stood in the starry sky. At this moment, the vast starry sky was filled with sounds that shook the starry sky. 12 rays of light streaked across the starry sky. Following that, 12 huge stone tablets appeared, standing tall in the vast starry sky. It was a magnificent sight. The 12 Chaos Stone Tablets were the 5 elements: Chaos Stone Tablet, Devouring Chaos Stone Tablet, Lightning Chaos Stone Tablet, Space Chaos Stone Tablet, Time Chaos Stone Tablet, Destruction Chaos Stone Tablet, Reincarnation Chaos Stone Tablet, Slaughter Chaos Stone Tablet, Divine Divination Chaos Stone Tablet, Sword Intent Chaos Stone Tablet, Immortal Tyrant Body Chaos Stone Tablet, and Darkness Chaos Stone Tablet. The 12 Chaos Stone Tablets represented 12 different powers, the 12 strongest powers in the vast starry sky. In the blink of an eye, the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets transformed into people. There were men and women, old and young. The 12 people emitted intense light as they surrounded each other and fiercely collided. The people who had the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets were the 12 rulers of the vast starry sky. Longao couldn't hear what the 12 rulers were saying in his dream. After a few minutes, the 12 rulers started fighting each other. The battle spread throughout the vast starry sky. Brother Long, what's wrong? Brother Long, don't scare me. Don't scare me. Not only Aoshue, but even Bai Ling and Yuan were there. Looking at the trembling Longao, the 3 girls didn't know what was going on. Xiling's figure suddenly appeared. Sister, what's wrong with Brother Long? Seeing her sister appear, Bai Ling seemed to have found her pillar of support. She couldn't wait to ask. Xiling had already sensed it. Her face was very serious. She said, "It should be some kind of power that's pulling Longao." The 4 of us appeared at the same time, hoping to save Longao. Hearing Xiling's words, Bai Ling and the others were shocked. They didn't dare hesitate and immediately attacked. Aoshue and Yuan had reached Nirvana realm. As for Bai Ling and Xiling, they were nothing. The 4 of them together were very powerful. 4 lights entered Longao's body and slowly stabilized Longao's trembling body. About an hour later, Longao's body began to stop shaking. Slowly opening his eyes, Longao looked at the 4 girls in front of him. He asked curiously, "Why are you all here? What happened just now?" "Longao, what did you do?" "What did I do?" Chapter 1765. Master, Elder Yun has an urgent matter to discuss with you. Longao was a little confused because he knew Yun Luoshan's character well. If it wasn't something important, Yun Luoshan would never bother him. Could something have happened to the sect? Now that the sect had just become one of the top 10 sects, its foundation was still unstable. There would be a lot of trouble. He didn't dare to be careless. Similarly, he didn't dare to hesitate. Longao took Luli and Chief-Elect with him and left the Dragon Valley, returning to the Massacre Abyss. As soon as he stepped into the Dragon City, "Master, there's good news. F***CK. He cursed fiercely. So it was a good news, but they made it sound like a bad news. Elder Yun, next time tell me what's going on. If I have a weak heart, I'll be scared to death." Yun Luoshan chuckled awkwardly and said, "Master, not long ago, Lord Clairvoyant sent a Starry Sky Order." Starry Sky Order? What was that? Longao took the so-called Starry Sky Order from Yun Luoshan's hand, and a message instantly entered his mind. Every 10,000 years, Lord Clairvoyant would open the Starry Sky secret realm. Every force would be given 2 quotas. In addition to the Master, the other quota was given to each sect's old ancestor. A total of 20 people would enter the Starry Sky secret realm to compete for the Starry Sky inheritance, Starry Sky divine artifacts, and Starry Sky martial skills. The Starry Sky secret realm was a place that every cultivator dreamed of entering. Longao was pleasantly surprised when he sensed the message. Generally speaking, Regardless of the level of a starry sky cultivator, the starry sky inheritance would not last more than a year. In other words, if no one devoured it within a year, the starry sky inheritance would disappear. There were exceptions to everything. Some starry sky cultivators would be refined by other starry sky cultivators into an eternal starry sky inheritance. There was another situation, which was when a starry sky cultivator died, the starry sky inheritance could be turned into a starry sky godhead. This kind of starry sky godhead was also eternal. According to Lord Clairvoyant, there were countless starry sky godheads in the starry sky secret realm. No matter who obtained them, they would belong to him. Who could resist such temptation? Who should he bring? No matter what, his sect was different from other sections. Not only was he the founder of the dragon sect, but he was also the master of the dragon sect. In other words, the master and the great ancestor were the same person. Mount Yunluo? Yunfeng? Or was it Azurite and Chief Elect? The four of them did not seem to be suitable. After thinking about it, Longao finally decided to go to the star secret realm alone. If he was lucky enough to obtain 8 or 10 starry sky god deities, he could definitely create 8 or 10 starry sky cultivators. Even Longao couldn't resist such a good thing. The starry sky secret realm was set to open a month later. Originally, Longao was prepared to deal with the Long family. However, because of the star secret realm, Longao decided to temporarily give up. This was because entering the star secret realm this time could be said to be extremely dangerous, with a slim chance of survival. There were a total of 19 people in the star secret realm, and he was the only one in his sect. Longao knew very well that the other 9 superpowers, the Long family, the Alchemy Guild, the Martial Artists Alliance, the Wanshou sect, the Five Elements sect, the Wanzhan School, the Sword sect, the Purple Thunder sect, and the Azura Palace, were all Nirvana reborn martial artists. He was the only one who was in the unity of heaven and man realm. Even if he was talented, he could only break through to the cycle reproduction realm in a month's time. It was impossible for him to break through to the Nirvana or Nirvana reborn realm in a month's time. There was only one way. Longao had already thought about it. No matter what happened, he had to raise his cultivation to the cycle reproduction realm in a month's time. There was no time to waste. Longao wasn't the only one. The other 9 superpowers had all received the Starry Sky token from the Clairvoyant Master. No one would be able to resist such a temptation. Long Tian and Tong Zun originally didn't want to enter the Starry Sky secret realm. They weren't idiots. They had already obtained their core energy and could just wait for their breakthroughs. As for what had happened 10,000 years ago when the Starry Sky secret realm had opened, no one knew. When the 10 ancestors of the star secret realm had risen, the martial heaven continent had been in chaos. There had been no star secret realm. That was why Long Tian and Tong Zun hadn't wanted to enter. But could they? Clearly not. The Clairvoyant Master's message had been very clear. The 2 of them had to enter. Otherwise, there would only be one result waiting for them. They would be killed without mercy. The 2 of them didn't dare to go against the Clairvoyant Master's will. Even if they didn't want to go, they had no choice. Whether it was Long Tian or Tong Zun, or the others, they had all put aside their grudges. They all knew that they had to prepare for the Starry Sky secret realm. Whether it was good or bad, as long as they passed, everything would be fine. As for Longao, no one would care what he did once they entered the Starry Sky secret realm. 1 month's time. The Clairvoyant Master had only given them 1 month to prepare. As for the matter of the Starry Sky secret realm, only 19 people knew about it. The Clairvoyant Master also forbade anyone from leaking it, or they would be killed without mercy. No one doubted the Clairvoyant Master's words or his power, let alone one-on-one. Even 19 people working together wouldn't be a match for the Clairvoyant Master. The Slaughter Abyss. Within Dragon City, Longao was cultivating with all his might, but he was still unable to find a breakthrough point. He was very depressed. He was getting closer and closer to the 1-month deadline. The more power he gained, the better it would be for him. Who knew what was inside the Starry Sky secret realm? Opportunities and dangers coexisted. Longao didn't believe that there was a free lunch in this world. Let alone the Starry Sky secret realm, just the others had to be prepared. Otherwise, Even if they were ambushed, they wouldn't know. Breakthrough. He was still unable to break through. Longao's heart was a little chaotic. The more it was like this, the harder it was to break through the bottleneck, especially at such a critical moment. Longao clearly knew that it wasn't the right time, but he couldn't help it. Chi deviation. If Longao continued like this, there would only be one result, and that was chi deviation. However, at this moment, a cool chi flow instantly entered his body. It was like a person who was filled with fire suddenly swallowing an iceberg. It was very comfortable. It was also because of the cold chi flow that the bottleneck that he couldn't break through was like the sea breaking through an obstacle. It was unstoppable. Within Longao's dantian, the power began to multiply. It was the cycle multiplication realm that was above the unity of heaven and man realm. After stabilizing for 6 hours, Longao finally stabilized. He turned around and looked at the man in front of him. "Thank you for your help, big brother." Chapter 1766. The person who helped Longao break through was none other than Longbatian. At Longbatian's request, Longao had no choice but to address him as his big brother. It was very strange. He was the ancestor, but he had to address him as his brother. Longao still couldn't figure out why the ancestor did this. He was very satisfied. Longbatian said with a smile, "Second brother, with your talent, not to mention in a mid-level realm, even in a high-level realm, you'd be a great existence." A high-level realm? Longao didn't dare to imagine. According to Xiling and the clairvoyant, the vast universe was divided into 3 levels: low-level, mid-level, and high-level realms. Low-level realms couldn't produce starry sky martial artists. As for high-level realms, they were countless times stronger than mid-level realms. In other words, no matter which high-level realms it was, there would be countless experts and geniuses. Second brother, I believe you already know about the starry sky secret realm? Yes. Longao had already guessed that his big brother was here for the starry sky secret realm. Otherwise, why would his big brother come at this time of all times? Second brother, the starry sky secret realm is the clairvoyance test. If you can pass it, your future will be bright. If not, you'll never be able to come out. Longao wasn't surprised at all. He had already guessed it. Could it be? As if thinking of something, Longao asked, "Big brother, have you also entered the starry sky secret realm?" "Yes, otherwise, I wouldn't have achieved what I have today. However, my talent isn't as good as Tiandao's. I need to constantly devour starry sky divine sparks to break through, while Tiandao has to comprehend and cultivate." At the mention of this, Longbatian clearly felt a deep sense of helplessness. Comparisons were odious. Although Longbatian didn't say it explicitly, Longao had already guessed. Not only his big brother, but even Tiandao had also entered the starry sky secret realm. It seemed that both of them had passed the clairvoyance test. It was hard to imagine if they could come out of the starry sky secret realm if they couldn't pass the test. There was only one answer: they definitely couldn't come out. Second brother, after so many years, Tiandao and I don't even know how many times the starry sky secret realm has opened. But no matter how many times it opened, among countless people, only Tiandao and I have successfully left. Shock. Longao was completely shocked. Master God Diviner's test was simply too awesome. Out of so many people, only 2 had made it out alive. In other words, once the 19 of them entered the starry sky secret realm, it was almost impossible for anyone to come out alive. With a deep sigh, Longbatian continued, "Tong Zun and Long Tian have been chosen by the clairvoyant. Unfortunately, their talents are limited. Even if they obtain the origin energy, they may not be able to achieve great things. Otherwise, the clairvoyant would not have opened the star secret realm." He was shocked again. Longao knew that the old ancestor would definitely not deceive him. If the ancestor hadn't said it himself, it would be hard to imagine that Tong Zun and Long Tian had already obtained the origin energy. Fortunately, the marvelous mathematician was about to open the starry sky secret realm. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to deal with them once they reached the starry sky realm. As for whether the 2 of them could come out alive after entering the star secret realm, it was still unknown. Big brother, what should I do? Longao was no fool. Since his big brother had come here specifically for the Star Secret Realm, he would definitely have a way to deal with it, just as he had expected. Second brother, I can't tell you about the Star Secret Realm. Otherwise, I won't be able to answer to the clairvoyant. Although the Star Secret Realm is full of danger, it is also full of opportunities. If you can come out alive, you can at least reach the Nirvana Rebirth Realm, or even break through to the Starry Sky Realm. This was not what Longao was concerned about. He had already decided that even if he could obtain a Starry Sky Godhead in the Star Secret Realm, he would never choose to devour it. As for how to deal with it, you just have to listen to me. After entering the Star Secret Realm, let go of all your grudges and work together to pass the test. Otherwise, none of you will come out alive. Work together? How could he work together? What a joke. He could work together with his master and the others, but how could he work together with Tong Zun, Wan Shou Ancestor, Long Tian, and the others? It would be good enough if they didn't start a war. Second brother, I know what you're thinking, but this is the only way. Don't worry, when they enter the Star Secret Realm and encounter danger, they will definitely agree to help you. I understand. If that was the case, he could only do as he was told. No one was willing to die in vain. Even Longao was no exception. Second brother, I've discussed with the clairvoyant. Your cultivation time is very short, so I can make an exception and give you something. But remember, don't use it unless it's a matter of life and death. With that, Long Batian took out a fist-sized golden liquid and said, This is part of my power. After entering the Star Secret Realm, you can use my power if you're in a life or death situation. You only have one chance, so don't use it recklessly. He carefully took the treasure from his big brother. Longao knew very well what it meant. It was like a second life for him. Longao was well aware of the old ancestor's strength. A part of the strength of a level 9 Starry Sky cultivator was enough to dominate the world. Taking the power, Longao said gratefully, Big brother, thank you for this. There's no need to be so polite between brothers. Chapter 1767. Long Batian left. Longao chose to continue his cultivation. He didn't stop just because he had broken through, because Longao knew very well that there was only a slim chance of survival in the Star Secret Realm. The stronger one was, the safer one's life would be. A month's time passed by quietly. Longao also stood up and headed to the Crystal Palace. As for the location of the Star Secret Realm, no one knew except for Master Godly Mathematician. Only Longao was from the Dragon Sect. In other words, the Cauldron of 10 Directions was originally supposed to have 20 people enter. In this way, only 19 people would enter. The list was as follows: Long Family, Old Ancestor Long Tian and Master Long Di Tian. Pill Union, Old Ancestor Su Tian and Master Su Runfeng. Martial Artists Alliance, Old Ancestor Tong Zun and Master Tong Tiendi. Thousand Beasts Sect, Old Ancestor Thousand Beasts and Master Shurchong. Dragon Sect, Master Long Ao. Five Elements Sect, Old Ancestor Five Elements and Master Sima Tuesday Wanzhan School. Old Ancestor Scorching Sky and Master Lin Junhong. Sword Sect, Old Ancestor Jin Tian and Master Morong Guena. Purple Thunder Sect, Old Ancestor Purple Thunder and Master Yi Tianhua. Azura Palace, Old Ancestor Xing Kuan and Master Xing Yu. A total of 19 people came to the Crystal Palace. No matter who they were, even if they had a grudge against their father, they wouldn't dare to cause trouble here. What a joke. If they dared to cause trouble outside the Crystal Palace, they would die without a doubt. No matter what, Master Godly Mathematician's strength was there for all to see. Come in. Hearing Master God Diviner's message, Long Ao's group of 19 entered. However, when Long Tian and the others brushed past Long Ao, they radiated killing intent. If it weren't for the fact that they were outside the Crystal Palace, Long Tian and the others would have already attacked. Inside the Crystal Palace, the 19 people bowed respectfully. Greetings, Master Godly Mathematician, the strongest expert in the Sky Martial Continent. Not to mention 19 people. Even the Heavenly Tao wouldn't dare to provoke Master Godly Mathematician. This was the status and identity brought by strength. Status. Everyone, please sit. Everyone sat down without the slightest bit of politeness. Longao was the last seat, and in front of him was Funtion. No matter what, among the crowd, there were two people who had the best relationship with him. One was his master, Funtion, and the other was Big Brother Zile. I believe everyone already knows the purpose of our visit.
Calm.
The Starry Sky Secret Realm opens once every 10,000 years. Aside from the Starry Sky Godhead and Starry Sky martial skills, there are also Starry Sky divine artifacts. However, let me tell you, although there are many opportunities in the Starry Sky Secret Realm, it is also very dangerous. He was shocked. Although they had guessed that the Starry Sky Secret Realm would be dangerous, they hadn't expected it to be so dangerous. Of the 19 people, not a single one had made it out alive. The Starry Sky Secret Realm has been opened over 100 times. Master Godly Mathematician sighed deeply. Others might not know, but how could Longao not know? The Starry Sky Secret Realm had been opened over 100 times, and only the Heavenly Tao and his big brother had passed. It was easy to imagine how terrifying the trials were. Longao was very clear that those who could enter the Starry Sky Secret Realm were all peerless geniuses of the Sky Martial Continent. The difficulty of this trial will be 10 times lower. Consider it your chance. Let me remind you that once you enter the Starry Sky Secret Realm, you must choose to unite. Otherwise, you won't be able to leave. Unite? How could they unite? Ignoring the others, just Long Tian, the myriad beast ancestor, Tong Zun, and Long Ao's enmity wouldn't be enough. However, since Master Godly Mathematician had said it, no one objected. They had already decided that no matter what their enmity was, they would deal with the Starry Sky Secret Realm first. Batian, you can come out. As soon as Master Godly Mathematician said that, Long Batian walked out from behind him with a smile. Long Batian? Seeing Long Batian walk out from the back, everyone was shocked, especially Long Di Tian and Long Tian. They were extremely shocked, because no one expected Long Batian to suddenly appear here. Why would Long Batian appear here? Long Batian was a peerless figure from 10,000 years ago. He could be considered a descendant of the Long family. However, he was very rebellious and didn't put the Long family in his eyes. He was the first person to betray the Long family. A Starry Sky expert. Sensing the terrifying aura of the Starry Sky Secret Realm coming from Long Batian, everyone was shocked. No one had thought that the Long Batian, who had died back then, would actually reach the Starry Sky Realm. As for what level of Starry Sky Secret Realm Long Batian was, no one could sense it. Master Godly Mathematician, what are your orders? Although Long Batian had broken through to the 9th level of Starry Sky Secret Realm, he was still an ant to Master Godly Mathematician. As long as Master Godly Mathematician wanted to, he could kill Long Batian at any time. Batian, take them to the Starry Sky Secret Realm this time. Remember, don't cheat. Yes, Master. At this time, Longao suddenly stood up and asked, Master Godly Mathematician, how long will it take for us to enter the Starry Sky Secret Realm? All the experts of the other 9 superpowers were present, and Longao believed that everyone had already informed their sects that no matter how long it took, the Dragon Valley would be fine. However, Longao still wanted to know how long it would take. Everyone was a little surprised because Longao was the only one who dared to ask. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't have dared to ask. In their opinion, no matter how long it took to enter the Starry Sky Secret Realm, there would be no problem. Master God Diviner chuckled and didn't seem the least bit angry. That will depend on your speed. However, it won't take more than 3 years. Hopefully, you'll all be able to come out and get what you want. Master Godly Mathematician's figure disappeared, and Long Batian led everyone out of the Crystal Palace. A white light enveloped everyone, and in the next second, they appeared somewhere on the seabed. There was water everywhere, but with everyone's strength, it was easy to force the water away. As soon as they appeared, the 19 people saw a huge whirlpool passage in front of them. There was no doubt that the whirlpool passage in front of them was the passage to the Starry Sky Secret Realm. Master Godly Mathematician's words are very clear. I don't want to talk nonsense. Let's begin. Long Batian opened the passage, and everyone started to enter without hesitation. One by one, they stepped into the passage. In a short while, everyone, including Longao, disappeared without a trace. Chapter 1768. Within the star-secret realm, the vast space was boundless, and one couldn't see the end of it. A desolate aura swept across the entire space. There were huge rocks everywhere. "Look, what's that?" Long Dtion exclaimed as everyone looked into the distance. It was 3 meters tall and 3 meters wide. It was a square-shaped meatball with spikes all over its body. It looked like a porcupine. What kind of divine beast was that? Everyone, be careful. It's a Nirvana divine beast. We can't determine its rank yet. Before entering, everyone had reached an agreement. Once they entered the star's secret realm, they had to put aside their grudges and fight against the outside world. They could continue their grudges after leaving the star's secret realm. No one objected. No one was willing to die here. Longao was shocked. He didn't expect to meet such a terrifying Nirvana divine beast as soon as he stepped into the star's secret realm. There were at least 100 of them. No one knew anything about the star's secret realm, but for some reason, all the information about these strange divine beasts appeared in everyone's minds. Stone beasts. Ordinary stone beasts were level 1 Nirvana divine beasts. Only the Emperor Stone Beast was level 5 Nirvana divine beast. They're here. At this moment, hundreds of stone beasts rushed over in a frenzy. No one dared to be careless and started to fight back. Everyone knew that in the star's secret realm, it was either you die or I die. Once you showed mercy to your enemies, there was only one outcome: death. No one was willing to die here. Although the hundreds of stone beasts were Nirvana divine beasts, they were only level 1 divine beasts and weren't worthy of their attention. 19 people, other than Longao. The rest were all Nirvana rebirth martial artists. 1 against 10. Even so, everyone was still standing strong. Despicable humans. How dare you hurt my descendants? I'm going to tear you into pieces. There was a roar. Immediately after, a stone beast that was more than 5 meters tall charged towards them. The spikes on its body were emitting a cold killing intent. A level 5 Nirvana divine beast was equivalent to a Nirvana reborn martial artist. With such a strong opponent, no one dared to be careless. Xing Kuan, 1000 Beast Ancestor, 5-Element Sect Master, and Jin Tian, the 4 Nirvana reborn martial artists, joined forces and attacked the Emperor Stone Beast. Things aren't looking good. Everyone formed a circle. Only the 4 great Nirvana rebirth martial artists were still besieging the Emperor Stone Beast. Fentian's voice was very solemn as he said, "Although the strength of these stone beasts is not much, their defensive power is very strong. Even with our strength, it will not be easy to kill these stone beasts." There was no need for Fentian to say anything else. Everyone already knew. The stone beast's defense was too strong. It was so strong that it was a little abnormal. Everyone's face gradually turned gloomy. Just a moment ago, they were still relaxed because in their opinion, hundreds of level 1 Nirvana divine beasts were just a piece of cake for them. T.S. Although they didn't know much about the Starry Sky secret realm, they knew that they had to move forward if they wanted to obtain the Starry Sky Divine Spark, Starry Sky Martial Technique, and Starry Sky Divine Artifact. Otherwise, if they were trapped in the Starry Sky secret realm, they might not even be able to survive, let alone obtain any Starry Sky Divine Artifact. It's easier said than done. Everyone realized that the stone beast's defense was impenetrable. Even Nirvana reborn martial artists couldn't break through the defense of an ordinary stone beast in a short time. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they wouldn't believe it. This kind of divine beast was unheard of and unseen. The battle between Xing Kuan, 1000 Beasts Ancestor, 5-Element Sect Master, and Jin Tian, the 4 Nirvana reborn martial artists, and the Emperor Stone Beast kept escalating. The Emperor Stone Beast didn't lose even though it was 1 against 4. It was enough to show the Emperor Stone Beast's strength. Most importantly, it was the Emperor Stone Beast's terrifying defense. Otherwise, the Emperor Stone Beast wouldn't have been able to withstand the attacks of the 4 of them. Kuan and the other three were also extremely shocked because they were very confident in their own strength. Not to mention the four of them joining forces, just any one of them was a super existence that could roam the continent unhindered. But the result? The four of them couldn't even defeat a level 5 Nirvana divine beast. Shameful, utterly shameful. The four of them were depressed to the extreme. The four of them looked at each other, and Kuan said coldly, "The four of us should work harder. If we get entangled by an ant, where will our face go?" "Ant? How dare you call me an ant?" Hearing them call it an ant, the Emperor's stone beast was enraged to the extreme. It said furiously, "For despicable and shameless humans, I'll show you the true strength of the Emperor's stone beast." The Emperor's stone beast suddenly released a primordial spirit realm. The primordial spirit power in its body could become its own realm power. It was called the primordial spirit realm. Kuan and the other three were not careless. They released their own primordial spirit realms. However, the Emperor's stone beast's primordial spirit realm had a gravitational space. It was like a mountain pressing down on them. If they couldn't break through the Emperor's stone beast's defense, it meant that they couldn't kill it. Retreat. The four of them didn't continue the battle and returned. The 19 of them looked at each other and saw a trace of shock in each other's eyes. "There's a cave over there. Let's go in first." After fighting for more than 2 hours, everyone was tired and needed to rest. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable if they continued fighting for such a long time. The 19 of them didn't dare to hesitate, and all of them went into the cave. They were very fast and opened a path. After a few minutes, the 19 of them had already entered the cave. The stone beast army didn't stop attacking. Fortunately, the entrance of the cave wasn't very big. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome. The 19 of them took turns to guard the entrance. After 2 hours, the Emperor's stone beast found that it was useless to continue attacking. It ordered them to guard the entrance and kill anyone who came out. Everyone was gasping for breath because it was really dangerous just now. It was not because of the stone beast's strength, but because of the stone beast's defense. Also, the spikes on the stone beast's body were obviously poisonous. Even if it was them, once they were stabbed, they would have died without a doubt. This is the Vitality Recovery Pill. It's very useful for recovering the primordial spirit. Su Renfeng gave one to everyone except for Longao. As the Alchemy Guild's master, Su Tian and Su Renfeng didn't lack pills. Chapter 1769. Su Renfeng, why isn't there a recovery pill for Longao? Purple Thunder had a bad temper. Of course, he knew what Su Renfeng meant. Among the 10 sects, only the Purple Thunder sect, Sword sect, and Wanzhan school stood by Longao's side. As for the others, even the 5 Elements sect had probably started to draw a line with Longao. Jin Tian also asked in a bad mood, "I hope Master Su can give us an explanation." Cough cough. Su Renfeng said innocently, "Everyone, please calm down. It's not that I'm unwilling to give Master Long the recovery pill, but it's not suitable for Master Long. Why is that?" Purple Thunder was a little anxious. Under such circumstances, medicinal pills were like food for ordinary people to them. Among the 19 of us, only Master Long's cultivation hasn't broken through to Nirvana Rebirth. He hasn't even reached Nirvana Rebirth. The recovery pill is only useful for the primordial spirit. As for the primordial spirit, Su Renfeng didn't continue, but the meaning in his words was very clear. He despised Longao. Even if Longao rose, in Su Renfeng's eyes, it was just a small cycle of reproduction. Kuan and the others on the side sneered. "Su Renfeng, you've gone too far." Purple Thunder was furious and threw the pill in his hand out. Not only Purple Thunder, but even Fen Tian, Jin Tian, and the others also threw out the pills in their hands. "All of you." At this moment, the 5 Elements Patriarch hurriedly came out to smooth things over and said, "Master Su, this is your fault. Even if Master Long's cultivation hasn't reached the primordial spirit realm, you should treat everyone equally." Apart from the recovery pill, Su Renfeng also had pills to recover the primordial spirit. It was just that he wasn't willing to take them out. I believe everyone already knows that the divine mathematician warned us before we came in that we must be united. Only by being united can we leave this place. Otherwise, we will all die here. Everyone who was at loggerheads just now sat down when they heard the word united. Master, Senior Jintian, Big Brother Zile, I don't need his pills. I'm an alchemist myself. Longao also took out the energy recovery pill and gave one to Jintian and the others. As for himself, he took another pill. He felt very uncomfortable in his heart. In Su Renfeng's opinion, the Alchemy Guild had been completely disgraced by Longao. Su Tian gave Su Renfeng a look. Suddenly, Su Renfeng said coldly, "Everyone, I have something to say. Master Su, please speak." No one dared to underestimate the Alchemy Guild and the Wanzhan School. The 19 of us entered the secret realm of stars this time. It can be said that we have a slim chance of surviving. If someone wants to sit back and enjoy the fruits of our labor but refuses to contribute, what should we do? Hearing Su Renfeng's words, everyone looked at Longao. Although Su Renfeng didn't mention a name, everyone knew who it was. Su Renfeng, what do you mean? Before Longao could speak, Zile couldn't stand it anymore. If Longao hadn't held him back, Zile would have attacked. Xing Kuan and the others sneered in their hearts. They couldn't wait for Su Renfeng to cause trouble. In their opinion, without Longao, they might even say that he was a burden. As for Jinling's primordial spirit, no one cared about it under such circumstances. Ever since they entered the secret realm of stars, their chances of obtaining the inheritance of stars had greatly increased. Why would they still want Longao's Jinling's primordial spirit? Senior Zile, you don't have to be angry. I know that you have a good relationship with Longao. I don't have any grudges with Longao. I won't cause trouble for him for no reason. I'm just stating the facts. He was obviously looking for trouble. Shameless. Su Renfeng was simply shameless to the extreme. Big Brother Zile, why bother talking nonsense with him? Longao directly chose to ignore Su Renfeng. What made him curious was that he didn't provoke Su Renfeng. Why would Su Renfeng find trouble with him for no reason? It was as if he owed him 1,000,000 gold coins. Seeing that Zile was ignoring him, Su Renfeng's anger grew. He didn't know why, but he couldn't stand Longao. He didn't know why. At the end of the day, it was because Longao's strength was too low. Why didn't Su Renfeng dare to offend others? He was a typical bully. Master Long, I've already said that I'm not targeting you. I'm just stating the facts. Among the 19 of us, your strength is the lowest. You can't possibly delay our strength. Am I right? Su Renfeng, let me protect Brother Long. What does it have to do with you? As the old ancestor of the Violet Thunder sect, regardless of status or strength, he was far above Su Renfeng. If it wasn't for Su Tian supporting him, would Su Renfeng dare to act like this? Su Renfeng smiled, not the slightest bit angered. One couldn't help but admit that Su Renfeng was indeed a character. Senior Purple Thunder, although you all can ignore this matter, it doesn't mean that everyone will agree. Before we came in, we had already discussed that we have to work together. You all have been helping Master Long, weakening our strength. I believe everyone has seen the danger earlier. Who knows what kind of danger will appear in the future? Don't tell me we can continue like this forever? Obstructing Purple Thunder, Longao asked, "May I ask, Master Su, what do you mean exactly? Please speak clearly. I'm a straightforward person. I don't like to dawdle." Straightforward. Since Master Long is also a straightforward person, I won't beat around the bush. Our meaning is simple. Master Long can't be a freeloader. As long as Master Long can go out now and casually kill a stone beast, we will acknowledge your strength. How about it? Su Renfeng, you. Purple Thunder could not bear it any longer and immediately attacked. However, at this time, Su Tian also struck out with his palm. The strength of the two was about the same, and neither of them could do anything to the other. Purple Thunder, you've gone too far. Su Tian, I want to experience the strength of the Dan Alliance today. Everyone was not stupid. Su Renfeng was completely trying to kill Longao. If all 19 of them were to move out, they might be able to kill one or two stone beasts. If they were to go out alone, forget about killing a stone beast. It was unknown if they would be able to return alive. Not to mention Longao. Even Xingkuren might not dare to go out alone. Not to mention Purple Thunder. Even Jintian and Fentian were a little angry. If not for the fact that they were unable to leave the Star Secret Realm due to their unity, they would have already made their move. Shrugging his shoulders helplessly, it seemed that his troubles were endless. Longao did not want to implicate his master and big brother, so he stood up and said with a smile, "No problem, but Master Su, why don't we make a bet and have some fun? P.S. Let's start with 5 chapters. Little 9 will go to sleep first, and we'll continue writing tomorrow. Those brothers who have votes, please vote for Longao. Little 9 will work hard tomorrow, he." Chapter 1770. Bet? Looking at the smiling Longao, for some reason, Su Renfeng's heart skipped a beat. A bad premonition arose in his heart. Could it be that Longao wanted to play some tricks? However, things had already reached this point. Even if he wanted to go back on his word, it was already somewhat impossible. All right, let's hear it. The bet is very simple. If I can kill a stone beast and return, you will kneel down and admit your mistake. How about it? Furious, Su Renfeng never thought that Longao would propose such a bet. It was simply a great humiliation. One could never be too careful. What if Longao could really kill a stone beast and return? Ha ha ha, Su Renfeng. Don't tell me you don't dare? Purple Thunder Ancestor laughed out loud. His laughter was filled with contempt and ridicule. Su Renfeng's face was very gloomy. It was as ugly as it could get. Master Dragon, Renfeng has no problem agreeing to your bet. However, not only do you have to kill a stone beast, you have to kill 2 more stone beasts. How about it? Shameless. Without giving Purple Thunder any chance to speak, Longao had already nodded and agreed. No problem. Brother Long, you have just seen the defensive power of the stone beasts. How can you kill 3 stone beasts by yourself? Purple Thunder Ancestor, Jin Tian, Fentian, and the rest were all very worried. No matter what, the power of the stone beast army was there. If one person went out, it was simply sending himself to death in vain. However, the bet had already been set. If Longao went back on his word, how would he stand for the rest of the time? Big Brother Purple Thunder, don't worry. Wait for my good news. The bet had already been set. Longao would definitely not go back on his word. Stepping out of the cave, his entire figure had already rushed out. Old Ancestor, Longao can't really kill 3 stone beasts, right? Su Renfeng was very worried. He was worried that Longao would really win the bet. At that time, he would rather die than kneel down and admit his mistake. Su Tian's face was indifferent, as if he did not take the bet to heart. Even if I lose, it's no big deal. It was said lightly. Su Renfeng cursed in his heart, but he did not dare to say anything. Outside the cave, Longao had only just stepped forward when his aura soared to the max. Using his aura, he pushed the surrounding stone beasts away. Hundreds of stone beasts surrounded Longao so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. As for the Emperor's stone beast, it stood in the distance and watched coldly. The reincarnation doppelganger appeared instantly. The stone beast's defense was strong. Could he beat the reincarnation doppelganger? The reason Longao dared to make this bet was because he was very confident. He might not be able to kill the Emperor's stone beast, but killing 3 stone beasts was more than enough. The speed of the reincarnation avatar was very fast. It moved quickly around Longao. In this way, the surrounding stone beasts were unable to get close to him. Longao let out a long sigh of relief. If one were to compare the defensive powers of the stone beasts and the reincarnation doppelganger had a better defense. Not to mention ordinary stone beasts, even a stone beast emperor might not be able to defeat the reincarnation doppelganger. Opportunity. Longao knew that he had to end the battle quickly. Otherwise, once the emperor's stone beast reacted, not to mention killing the 3 stone beasts, he might not even be able to return to the cave alive. Even if he used the destruction palm, he would not be able to kill the stone beasts. There was only one way to kill the stone beasts. Time sure kill technique. Under the double attack of time rewind and time advance, Longao's speed increased by several times, but the surrounding stone beasts slowed down by several times. The reincarnation sword appeared in his right hand. Longao directly used the first move of the 36 reincarnation forms, Reincarnation 9 Kills, and the second move, Reincarnation Chaotic Dance. Longao was very confident that no matter how strong the stone beast's defense was, it would not be able to resist his 36 reincarnation forms. Moreover, it was the power of the reincarnation sword. He did not know if his sword could kill the stone beast. Now, the sword directly entered the stone beast's body. Plop. The stone beast's body directly fell down. Seeing this situation, Longao's heart was immediately filled with joy. He directly kept the stone beast's body on the ground into the dragon seal space. Without the slightest hesitation, he immediately began to kill the second stone beast and even the third stone beast. According to the bet, he had to kill 3 stone beasts. Longao's speed was very fast. Moreover, the star's secret realm did not restrict his spatial teleportation. Therefore, Longao was like a gust of wind. No, faster than the wind. He could not even see his figure. Kacha, Kacha. Longao used his fastest speed to kill 2 stone beasts. In less than a few minutes, he had successfully killed 3 stone beasts. The bet had been completed. Longao naturally did not want to continue fighting, because the Emperor's stone beast had obviously reacted and was rushing towards him at its fastest speed. If it was an ordinary warrior, it would be difficult for him to escape if he was surrounded by an army of stone beasts. Only Longao could use spatial teleportation. Not to mention ordinary stone beasts, even the Emperor's stone beast could not catch up to him. This was the power of spatial teleportation. Everything was calculated by Longao. Human, I'll tear you into 1,000 pieces. Seeing 3 of his clansmen being killed in succession, the Emperor's stone beast was enraged to the extreme. It never imagined that the other party would be so powerful. Otherwise, it wouldn't have just watched the battle and would have directly interfered. Regret. However, things had already reached this point. Even if it regretted, it would not be of much use. Because of this, the Emperor's stone beast madly chased after Longao with endless anger. Before it arrived, its terrifying killing intent had already arrived. Longao was also worried to the extreme. He did not dare to hesitate at all because the distance between him and the Emperor's stone beast was less than 100 meters. With the Emperor's stone beast's speed, it would take at most 3 seconds to reach him. Even if he used spatial teleportation, he had to return to the cave as fast as possible. Otherwise, if the Emperor's stone beast caught up to him, he would not be able to resist its attack. Longao used spatial teleportation to increase his speed to the extreme. The Emperor's stone beast was furious because of the death of its clansmen, and its speed also increased to the extreme. Longao and the Emperor's stone beast, one in front and one behind, were extremely fast. In the end, the Emperor's stone beast still lost because Longao's spatial teleportation was too powerful. This was also because Longao's spatial teleportation was 2 whole realms lower than the Emperor's stone beast. Otherwise, if they were at the same realm, the Emperor's stone beast would not even be able to see Longao's but. Just like that, the Emperor's stone beast could only watch as the human returned to the cave. It could only stop abruptly. No matter what, there were 18 Nirvana rebirth cultivators in the cave. The Emperor's stone beast was not strong enough to fight 18 Nirvana rebirth cultivators alone. P.S. The 6th chapter has been delivered. Thinking about it, I will continue writing. Chapter 1771. Seeing Longao return without a hitch, everyone was greatly shocked. Su Renfeng, in particular, had an extremely ugly expression on his face, as if his father had died. The 3 stone beast corpses on the ground were placed there. This bet was obviously won by Longao. Purple Thunder laughed crazily and pointed at the 3 stone beast corpses on the ground, making an inviting gesture. His meaning was clear. Anger. Endless anger. Su Renfeng's body trembled because of his anger. Renfeng, hearing the old ancestor calling his name, Su Renfeng gritted his teeth and knelt on the ground. He said reluctantly, "Master Long, I was wrong this time." Longao ignored him. After this incident, the grudge between him and Su Renfeng had been formed. Not to mention leaving the star-secret realm, Su Renfeng would not let him go if he had the chance, including Long Tian and Tong Zun. Standing up, Su Renfeng did not say anything else. Originally, this time, he wanted to give Longao a show of strength. This show of strength was very good, and he made himself a horse. Bear with it. Longao must die. Yes, old ancestor. What else could Su Renfeng say now that things had come to this? Shameless humans, how dare you kill my people? I'll give you a chance. As long as you hand over the human who just came out, I'll let you go. At this time, the Emperor Stone Beast's voice was suddenly heard. No one expected the Emperor Stone Beast to act like this. F***ck off. Don't even think about it. Purple Thunder Ancestor was furious. If Longao had not stopped him, he would have gone out to kill. The 19 of them had reached an agreement. No matter what grudges they had, as long as they did not leave the Star-Secret Realm, they had to stay together and leave the Star-Secret Realm. This was the only way to leave the Star-Secret Realm. Purple Thunder and the others did not agree, but that did not mean Long Tian and the others did not agree. If it were anyone else, Long Tian and the others would not be willing to sacrifice themselves for the sake of the big picture. But Longao was the exception. Many of them hoped that Longao would die, preferably here. Su Renfeng, of course, did not want to take the loss lying down. The opportunity had come. To Su Renfeng, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Master Dragon, you're the one who brought this trouble upon yourself. Shouldn't you step in and resolve it? Everyone present was a sly old fox. How could they not understand the meaning behind Su Renfeng's words? Sacrificing Longao would allow everyone to leave safely. Su Renfeng and the others were naturally willing to do so. They were willing, but Zilei and the others were not. This time, without waiting for Zilei to speak, Tian, who had not spoken all this while, said, "Master Su, there must be a limit to everything. Otherwise, don't blame us for being merciless." Tian added, "At worst, we'll just split up." Tian and Tian were very clear that if this continued, Su Renfeng and the others would sooner or later kill Longao. Rather than that, they might as well directly fall out with him. At worst, they could just split into 2 teams and go their own way. Su Renfeng didn't know what to do. If he offended Tian and the others for Longao, it would be like going for wool and coming home shorn. They didn't care about the lives of Tian and the others. What they cared about was whether they could leave the Star-Secret Realm. At this moment, Su Tian stood out and mediated. "Brother Tian, Brother Tian, Brother Zilei, please calm down. Renfeng is just saying. We have already made an agreement before. We must be united and leave the Star-Secret Realm together. How can we sacrifice Master Long to help us?" Shameless. Despicable. Everyone knew what kind of person Su Tian was. He was a typical person who hid a knife behind a smile. However, under such circumstances, no one was willing to fall out with him. Tian was obviously very dissatisfied and said, "All right, since that's the case, let's say the ugly words first. In this trip to the Star-Secret Realm, no matter who obtains the Starry Sky Divine Deity, the Starry Sky Martial Skill, and the Starry Sky Divine Weapon will belong to you." Change of strategy. Since it had already come to this, of course, no one would object. There was only one way to get what they wanted in the Star-Secret Realm, and that was to rely on their own abilities. "I was wrong just now. Everyone, what should we do now?" Longao had killed 3 stone beasts. Perhaps the Emperor's stone beast would not let this matter rest. It would not rest until one of them was dead. It would not be easy for them to leave this place. No one paid attention to Su Renfeng because no one knew what to do. Su Renfeng was bored and could only sit down with a face full of depression and anger. This time, Longao had caused him to lose all face. As the alliance leader of the Dan Alliance, his position was high and mighty, especially the position of the Dan Alliance. He had to take revenge for this. Everyone was silent, because the Emperor's stone beast outside would definitely not let this matter rest. They could not be trapped here forever, and once 3 years had passed, they would be teleported out without any results. If that was the case, wouldn't they have come in for nothing? They couldn't accept it, so everyone was thinking of various ways to deal with the stone beast, especially the Emperor's stone beast. At this moment, Zile suddenly said, Long Tian, if I'm not wrong, you still have the ice and fire 9-layered cauldron that you used to deal with Brother Long, right? That's right. If you can use this divine artifact to deal with the stone beast, I can guarantee that we can leave this place smoothly. The ice and fire 9-layered cauldron was known as the #1 divine artifact under the starry sky, so everyone was very confident. Normally, Tong Zun would not say that he had the ice and fire 9-layered cauldron, but now, he also wanted to leave the star secret realm smoothly and obtain more starry sky godheads, starry sky divine artifacts, and starry sky martial skills. If they could not leave, even the ice and fire 9-layered cauldron would not be of much use. The ice and fire 9-layered cauldron could not be brought into the coffin. With Long Tian as a warning, Tong Zun was ready to use the ice and fire 9-layered cauldron to deter everyone. Among the warriors of the same level, once they had the ice and fire 9-layered cauldron, even Xing Kuan, who was under the starry sky, would not be taken seriously by Long Tian and Tong Zun. Before Long Tian could speak, Tong Zun said, Brother Long, if you and I work together with 2 ice and fire 9-layered cauldrons, I believe we can destroy the stone beast race. Hearing Tong Zun's words, everyone was shocked, because they never thought that not only Long Tian had the ice and fire 9-layered cauldron, but even Tong Zun also had the ice and fire 9-layered cauldron. If it was outside, everyone would be afraid. But now, everyone wanted Tong Zun to have the ice and fire 9-layered cauldron. That way, their chances of leaving the star secret realm would be higher. Everyone nodded in agreement. Chapter 1772. Even if he was unwilling, would it work? During this special period, if he was unwilling, he would definitely be besieged by everyone. Long Tian would definitely not do such a stupid thing. All right, let's work together and see if we can destroy the stone beast race. He did as he said. Time was money. Tong Zun and Long Tian left the cave, and the moment they appeared, they immediately used the ice fire 9-layered cauldron, burning to the 8 wastelands and freezing 10,000 miles. The 2 extreme powers merged together and enveloped all the stone beasts in the surroundings. They thought that they could destroy all the stone beasts. The result? All the stone beasts were safe and sound. It was as if they had taken a hot bath, and all of them looked very comfortable. Seeing such a situation, not to mention Tong Zun and Long Tian, even the others were shocked. The ice fire 9-layered cauldron was useless against the stone beast race. The 1,000 Beasts ancestor and the others hurriedly took action and replaced the 2 of them. Since the ice fire 9-layered cauldron was useless, then the 2 of them were no match for the stone beasts. Everyone was forced back again. Their faces were solemn. If this continued, it would not be a good idea. Everyone, just now when Long Tian and Tong Zun took action, I was confident that I could find a breakthrough. I wonder if everyone wants to try? Hearing Fan Tian's words, everyone was overjoyed. Brother Fan Tian, please speak. Everyone was helpless to the extreme. Even the combination of 2 ice fire 9-layered cauldrons was not enough. It was hard to imagine what method could be used to destroy the stone beast race. Fan Tian looked at everyone and said, I believe everyone knows that the stone beast's defense is too strong. If we want to end the battle quickly, there is only one way, and that is to pull out the thorns. Pull out the thorns? No one understood what Fan Tian meant. What did he mean by pulling out the thorns? As for the stone beast's defense, everyone had seen it with their own eyes. However, what made many people curious was how Longao did it and killed 3 stone beasts in one go. No one asked, because everyone knew that the reason why Longao was able to do this was definitely not because of his own strength. Fan Tian did not hesitate in the slightest and roughly explained his method. It was not a method. There was no good way. They could only follow Fan Tian's instructions and pull out the thorns. The 19 of them took a deep breath and then walked out one by one. As soon as they stepped out of the cave, they all split up and headed toward the stone beasts. This time, it was not a 4-on-1 battle. Instead, Xing Kuan and the myriad beast's ancestor joined forces to deal with the Emperor Stone Beast. Among the crowd, Xing Kuan and the myriad beast's ancestor were the strongest. Their combined strength was enough to trap the Emperor Stone Beast. As for the others, they only had one goal, and that was to finish off the other stone beasts as quickly as possible. Longao was besieged by 4 stone beasts. Fortunately, with the help of spatial teleportation, Longao's speed increased to the extreme. Even if he was besieged, the 4 stone beasts would have a hard time killing Longao. Pucci. With his advantage in speed, Longao grabbed a stone beast and began pulling out the spikes. There weren't many spikes on the stone beast's body, but Longao's speed was very fast. In just a few seconds, a stone beast was pulled out by Longao until it was bald. Just as Fentian had guessed, the reason why the stone beast's defense was so strong was all because of the spikes on its body. Once the spikes were pulled out, the stone beast would be like an egg. Not to mention a Nirvana realm martial artist, even an ordinary martial artist could easily break through the stone beast's defense. Not only Longao, but the others also noticed it. Everyone was overjoyed and began to pull out the spikes on the stone beast's body. Shameless humans, I will tear you into pieces, seeing its clansmen fall one by one. Especially when the spikes on its body were pulled out, the Emperor's stone beast was furious to the extreme. However, it was surrounded by the myriad beast's ancestor and Xing Kuan. Monstrous anger. Longao and the others ignored the Emperor's stone beast because they knew very well that they had to end the battle quickly. Otherwise, the longer the battle dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for them. Everyone went all out, and each of them was extremely fast. About half an hour later, the spikes on the hundreds of stone beasts were all pulled out, and they were killed one by one. Xing Kuan and the myriad beast's ancestor stopped fighting, and the Emperor Stone Beast was the only one left in the entire Stone Beast clan. Looking at the 19 people in front of it, 19 of them were Nirvana realm martial artists. Except for one, the other 18 were Nirvana realm martial artists. The Emperor Stone Beast's face was filled with anger. Against 19, the Emperor Stone Beast was very clear that the chances of him losing were too high. Humans, don't think that I will take revenge if you win. The Emperor's stone beast slowly retreated, and in the blink of an eye, it had disappeared without a trace. No one gave chase. If they were outside, they would definitely not let the Emperor's stone beast go. Only at this time, no one knew how dangerous the Star's secret realm was. The most important thing now was to find a way to leave, and at the same time, find what they were looking for. Everyone, the crisis of the Stone Beast clan has been resolved. Let's move on. Remember, if we want to leave the Star's secret realm smoothly, we have to be united. I hope that no one will fall behind, and don't have any tricks up your sleeves. Once you are discovered, you will be attacked together. No one dared to disobey Fentian's words. It was not because Fentian was powerful, but because Fentian was a powerful array master, the #1 array master under the starry sky since ancient times. Look. Not far away, in the crevices of the rocks, a fist-sized red light ball was constantly flashing. Everyone present was a Nirvana realm martial artist. Even if Longao had not reached the Nirvana realm, he could still feel the power of the red light ball. Starry Sky Godhead. That's right, the fist-sized red light ball was the Starry Sky Godhead. It was the Starry Sky Godhead that they had painstakingly sought after entering the Star's secret realm. The Starry Sky Godhead was different from the Starry Sky Inheritance. The Starry Sky Inheritance could only exist for a year, but the Starry Sky Godhead could be indestructible unless it was deliberately destroyed. The biggest difference between the two was that even if the Starry Sky Inheritance was devoured, there was a chance that they would not be able to break through to the Starry Sky realm. However, the Starry Sky Godhead was different. As long as they could devour the Starry Sky Godhead, refine it, and integrate it, they would be able to break through to the Starry Sky realm. If they had to choose between the Starry Sky Inheritance and the Starry Sky Godhead, everyone would definitely choose the Starry Sky Godhead instead of the Starry Sky Inheritance. Looking at the flashing red light ball in the crevices of the rocks, everyone's eyes turned green with greed, including Long Tian and Tong Zun. The two of them knew very well that even if they devoured the origin energy, it was still unknown whether they could break through to the starry sky realm. If they could devour the starry sky godhead, it would be a completely different concept. They could certainly break through to the starry sky realm. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.